Okay. Hi everybody. Sorry we're late. Blame Discord and or OBS. It took us sorry. It took
Both.
me an hour even with help to I had to uninstall,
We
reinstall
were
OBS.
all-
Still didn't
We had
work.
the brain trust going.
Eventually,
Eventually, we're
This
here.
is-
Well, you know what?
this
We're
is-
here
I-
now.
Call
all right.
and came
we at
back.
Fat Dog Studios do not condone this, but I want you to know that this
Oh.
bottle had more in it when this first started, and I was planning on doing a slow sipping thing. So, yeah, I feel like I've earned this.
I'm on number 2.
Down to hatch.
Down
Oh,
the
boy.
hatch. I wish I could go.
Shem,
pick
it's up
another
to
one.
us.
The funny thing
to
is,
hold
I
the
wish
silver
I
line.
really wish I could pick up another
striving.
one of. No labels. We're not sponsoring stuff. I wish I could pick up
Fair,
another
yes.
one of these things from Kroger because they're only like $3.
That's not bad.
Oh yeah, and they're delicious.
Which one is it?
They're tasty. This is the Bay Ridge Vineyards Strawberry Moscato. Again, not sponsored.
Sounds tasty.
Okay.
There are
I'll
no
have to try that.
sponsorship
I used
opportunities
Moscatos.
that are happening here. Guys, couple of
no
things.
spawns.
If
No
you
sp-
missed
no
it, Pow.
How
I got
world?
Pow World on the brain. I was
Pow
gonna
World.
say Pow World
Apparently.
got delayed. No, Pow World did
Cowabunga.
not get delayed.
Nope.
Solo leveling got delayed because someone who was ready to voice for us had a recording session for a project they were on yesterday. Oh, I was wondering if you had something that was doing that. No, there was an actual moth.
You.
No, it was a
Okay.
little fly.
Okay.
Right in
That's
front of the
awesome.
camera.
Anyhow,
It was
someone who
right
was
up there.
supposed
It's
to
like, ooh, light.
someone who was supposed to voice for us for the solo leveling stuff had a recording for a different project that they were on, and it required
So much screaming.
Okay, yes. I don't let me do while I still have the opportunity. The alcohol hasn't fully taken
Yet.
over my ability to speak. No, I'm not a
It's
moon
getting
drunk.
there. We can hear
No.
it.
I'm not a moon drunk. Okay, you know what?
He's
Fine.
2 in. He's 1 in.
Moon.
About to be 2.
Moon.
He's one bottle in. I'm 2.
I'm
cans.
one Moon. I'm one whole bottle
cans
in.
in.
I accept your challenge. How many big words would you like me to use today?
I can make it work.
How many times while we're still No. The challenge isn't to continue drinking. The challenge is while I'm this intoxicated to sit here and eloquently tell you all the words that are in this book and what they mean.
Okay.
I don't lose any of this. All right. I go from 30 thoughts a second to 15. I'm still ahead of the game. Welcome to ADHD. That's what this is.
I don't know
Welcome
what
to
happens
Fat
to
Dog
me.
Studios.
I mean, same, but for me, it's instead of
So getting
it
back to
basically
the
gets rid of
topic
the
because
social anxiety and shit I have.
getting back to the topic because
Yeah,
I
we're
just
gone.
realized
Sorry.
how far away we're gonna end up going if we continue down this train of thought.
And we're already so late as is.
Solo leveling got postponed to 2 weeks from now. The person in question had a recording set up. They had to do a lot of screaming dialogue, use their voice a lot, and rend their vocals raw, and it wasn't okay to have them come on. And unfortunately for that, they were one of 2 people that had to do a plethora of voices because we didn't get enough auditions in. So what I did was I just changed the audition timeline to end next weekend and gave people all this week if they still want to try auditioning and let them audition. That's how it is. So solo leveling will be up on the 18th, guys, which actually gives the anime a chance because what we were about to cover was going to give you the ending of the first half of what they showed in the most recent anime episode. If you have not been watching Solo Leveling, cannot tell you enough. Please, please, please go watch it. Also,
It's
if you would
really
do me
good.
a huge favor, 3 huge favors, in fact. Number 1, these are all Fat Dog related. Number 1, if you would please go to the Fat Dog Light Novels channel and subscribe to that because that's where all of our content that we do here live on Twitch will end up because we have to keep it there. Please do that. Please support that. Number 2, very important. We highly, highly encourage you to go ahead and take some of the more interesting parts of the show. They don't all have to be funny or comedic or silly. Like, if somebody's doing a really good job of voicing a character or reading, absolutely clip that shit, because we want to use those clips and put them in shorts over on YouTube to promote Twitch. We're trying to use the YouTube shorts, which YouTube is plugging hard because it gets a lot of views on our YouTube channel. So if people knew that we were on Twitch, they'd come check us out. Wouldn't it be nice to have like at least like 100 people watching us and just checking us out?
So nice.
Yes.
It'd be nice.
It'd be very interesting.
Now, I'm not saying that we don't have an audience. We do have an audience, and you're very dedicated and loyal, and we love you.
You're wonderful.
But there could be more of you. It's the whole. Is it on fire? It could be more on fire. You know, kind of quote there.
You know what? With every video game in general, it's always nice when the number goes up. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah. Also, one other thing outside of Fat Dog, really quickly, that I want to plug. For some of you who may have a beef to pick with our friend Moonlight Sparks here. Number one.
What'd I do?
Number one.
What did you do?
Number one, I cast him as a main character. He is Jinwoo. So if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. And number two, I love that smile there. And number two, if you want a chance to get even with him for some of the shenanigans he's pulled over the last couple of months, we're playing Lethal Company tomorrow and streaming it. So come by, have fun, and enjoy
I think
watching.
I know who you're talking to then.
And enjoy,
I will be streaming that as well.
Enjoy watching him get his comeuppance. Oh yes, I'll be streaming it live
Great
over on my
enjoy
channel. Sonic will probably be joining us, so we'll go ahead and do it now. Sonic,
I will also be streaming it.
Plug your channel real quick so they can know where to go if they want to see you.
See my point of view of this Lethal Company stream, please go on to twitch.tv/snugglevelocity.
And for me, you go to twitch.tv/RichieRoberts16. That's me. All right.
If my
The-
internet could handle
Which
it, I
channel
would
will you be
love to
streaming
stream
on?
it.
That one or
Yeah.
the Fat Dog one?
we'll just buy him. All right. Next year, I'm getting a home, and then Moon's moving in, so we can actually have proper internet.
Maybe.
I got you, baby.
Listen, sweetheart.
Interesting.
If you pick a house that's close to Georgia, I will love you, and I will definitely do it.
Tennessee's close to Georgia.
I meant closer. Look, it's a 5-hour drive, 6-hour drive from me to you, bud.
No. That's only when you're going through one time zone. It's a 3-hour drive the other way.
Oh, shut up.
Oh,
If you're going from Eastern back to Central, you're literally driving 3 hours because you lose an hour in transit. It's technically a 4-hour drive. It becomes a 5-hour drive because you're going
That's a long way.
into the future. Whereas when you're driving back to Nashville, it's into the past. Come on, man.
Okay, is he at any point is he driving 88 miles per hour?
Join us in the Central Time Zone. We love you here.
Listen, I've already got like 2 other friends, and you know one of them, in the Central Time Zone. It would make some things easier, but at the same time,
Also,
family
secondly,
and friends.
also,
I love people here.
Also, here's the other thing. You'd be closer to them too.
You'd be closer to them too.
I know.
And you'd
Closer
be
to other
way
ways.
You'll
closer.
probably have to take a flight to see them, though.
And
Yeah,
yes,
probably.
but you'd be way closer to an airport.
You are correct. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine.
And you wouldn't have to
I'm
leave your
still
vehicle.
thinking on
And
it.
you wouldn't
I'm
have to leave your
having-
vehicle there either because I'd drop you off.
Oh,
And
I
pick
have
you up.
friends to take me. That's not.
No,
that's never
not
gonna be an issue.
the Atlanta one. I'm talking about for here. Like you wouldn't have to leave your vehicle
I
there
know.
and pay for that because I'd just drop you off.
I know.
Yeah.
Same here. I've got friends who. I'm never going to worry about that.
Well,
That's
I
nice.
was basically just saying, bitch, I'm closer. Come see me.
I know. Believe me, my brain is constantly flip flopping on what I want to do with this kind
That's
of.
okay. That's okay. Hey. You haven't met. You're like, I have all my friends here in Georgia. I was like, or in this area. I was like, bro.
What are we?
You
What
can
are
have
we
all-
and Shem? Chopped liver?
Apparently, right now you are. But also,
Damn.
you can make a lot of friends here in Nashville too, and they can come up to Nashville to see you.
I know, but
You're acting like
can't
you're
believe
acting like
me.
you're
I
across
have
the
to.
country. Oh my god, a 5-hour
kind of am.
drive! I have to drive 12 hours to see my parents. Shut the fuck up.
I understand, believe me, but
Even
you're
if
used
I
to that.
no,
I'm not.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If I take a plane ride to see my parents, I still have to drive. Shut up. I still have to drive 2.5 hours to see them. Yeah.
From the airport to the
Yep.
It's still a long way, I'm
Fair
sure.
enough.
Yeah.
Because the closest airport to them is Dallas.
The plane could just drop you off at your parents' house.
Yeah, sure. I'll just
Parachute out,
on
baby.
down.
If
Yeah,
only.
Yes.
You know, I'll tell you what. I didn't do it in the army for a reason. I'm not trying to destroy my knees now that I'm in my 40s.
After
Screw yourself.
Fuck
No superhero
Go
landing
after yourself,
parachuting.
sir. Play the
You just make the
smallest
TF2
violin.
ankle thing sound.
Also, okay,
he's
all
doing
right.
this
I already know
Yeah.
one person. I already know one person that would approve of you moving up here, and that's mostly just because he could like come and give you shit. Revan
Yeah.
would absolutely
I know.
approve of you moving here.
You would,
And honestly, I'd enjoy that. I love people giving me shit, but like,
Well, I mean, there's
I've got so
also
many
there's
people
also
who give me shit down here.
the other thing is I probably wouldn't do this until October because that's when I can
No,
transfer to a 2-bedroom as opposed to a 1-bedroom. And then I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
better. Also, the other
That
thing
would
that
be-
happens with a 2-bedroom is, hey man, they have washer dryer hookups, so I can get a washer and dryer.
that's always
That is
nice.
nice.
So I have to go
It's
anywhere.
very nice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hate to
All
like
right, back to the
interject,
show.
but, like,
Back
we
to the show.
are-
Yeah.
All right, so
We
third
said no
thing.
preamble at the beginning.
The third thing for Fat Dog that I have slowly forgotten. Yeah. I talked a little bit about the solo leveling thing. I talked about what else did I talk about? No, I talked about solo leveling. I know I talked about 2 of the 3 things I needed to talk about.
What was the second thing?
Well, us streaming Lethal Company was outside of Fat Dog, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Anime Church?
Oh,
No, it wouldn't be Anime Church. It's probably
No,
something else.
it wasn't Anime Church.
Yeah, something else.
something for Fat Dog.
Oh, the channel, the freaking light novels channel. Last
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
not
yeah,
least,
you did
guys,
that one.
guys, I know it's gonna be hard to find. I'm gonna try to see if I can find a link to the channel again. Please, if you have not done so already, please go subscribe to the aptly named, especially today, Technical Difficulties Podcast, PDS. Technical Difficulties PDS. That one. It's gonna be hard to find on YouTube because it's really, really small. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe.
brand
We
new.
have to have a certain number of subscribers before we could do anything live. And right now we don't have a video editor, so we need to do everything kind of live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless
Believe me, I would
unless
love
I
to
just
offer
record
my skills,
unless
but,
I
like,
just
I
call unless
don't
we
have
just
time.
record like freaking like PNGs, the little PNG icons of ourselves and like a cool background or something.
The ones we do with stream.
The what? What stream?
The ones that we do for stream, the Discord.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
not, the Fuji ones.
Yeah. Those, unless we do one of those, and whatever the topic is that we're talking about is kind of the background that we talk about, and I can change the background as is, like live editing in a way. But basically, that would be the best if we recorded that, maybe. But it's easier if we do it live because, guys, as scuffed as streaming is, recording on OBS, so much worse for me. Yeah.
No.
All right. That having been said, guys, I am so sorry that we're almost an hour and a half late.
Yep.
Also,
Shim.
like, if you want to see how bad recording with OBS is, you can just look at my freaking anime reactions. Just the first half of Mashoku Tensei.
Okay.
was nothing.
And not to mention us being late due to OBS.
Okay.
that too.
That having been said,
Let's not waste any more time.
and dive into it. No. Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation. Please open your holy
Your
books.
funny bone?
Please open your holy books to volume 15, a chapter 2. Because we went extra
You're already
long
there.
the last time, it feels almost appropriate that we're like extra short this time, but whatever. We're going to do
Yeah.
our best.
Right?
So
Yeah,
Shim,
we'll do what we can.
Shim's going to be reading for quite a bit. quite a bit, as it were.
It'll be a miracle if I read it all today.
But dude,
I don't
it'll
think
be
Sonic.
Sonic.
You and I are probably not.
Sonic, it'll be a miracle if any of the three of us read today. We're probably just giving
Probably
it
just
to
giving
Shem.
it
Probably
Shem
just gonna be
stream.
that guy.
No. I'm just gonna go
Readeroo!
as far as I can.
Get some ice cream.
Yeah.
Why are you stopping? Just read.
Readeroo! Alright, so guys, take a look. It's in a book. It's Rimuru Rainbow. Yeah.
Yes.
Rimuru
Yeah.
Rainbow.
I actually never read
Chapter
watched
2.
that show.
Hoping that we
Yeah.
hit chapter 2 today. We're starting chapter 2
We are in
today.
chapter. We already made the
We're
quota.
literally
Hell yeah.
starting it right now.
It's
Please.
amazing.
Well, good. I got good news for you. It
Yeah,
starts
we did it.
now.
Yep. Yeah, chapter 2.
What, 2 weeks, and then we had this delay.
Power
and now
Unbound.
this.
Didn't feel like that
Let
much.
him read.
Chapter 2, Power Unbound.
Oh yeah.
This may have been oh, hold on. I guess it has to be a little more somber. This may have been the first time my anger had blown my sense of reason completely out of my mind. Back when Shion and the others were killed, I felt a mixture of regret and anger. Self-hatred riddled my mind, but then hope sprang up again, and that let me attain a much calmer state. Thanks to that, I was able to maintain my composure while still acting out in a fury-driven rage. But this time was different. I felt a pain that tore out my soul, the possibility of losing Veldora completely devastating any sense of rationality. The odds? They don't matter. The enemy must be crushed. That's all there is to it. What now, Rimuru? It seems to me that we've been sequestered in some kind of special space. Would you like to try forcing our way out? I didn't need Benimaru to tell me that we were trapped. As long as the enemy's objective was to capture Veldora, it was only natural that they'd take steps to prevent us from interfering. We were the ones stupid enough to fall into the trap without realizing it. I think
Someone gonna
this
say
is...
something?
Oh, this is menu.
Yes,
Or, sorry, Raphael.
Oh no, it's me again. Oh man,
Is it me?
It's
you're
just
looking
for one
for?
line.
to have
Yeah.
spoken parts.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, it's
Bullshit.
and immediately it's an apology.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Apologies. I'm sorry that OBS sucks
Right?
Yeah,
and Discord sometimes blows.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
told
gonna
you
be
check
all
Discord,
night.
too.
That's gonna be all night with like Great Sage Raphael Seal. Because
It'd
this
be
is
in character.
it's gonna be this is gonna be the stream where my AI persona like shits all over OBS and Discord right now. Because goddamn it.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Raphael, oddly enough, seemed pretty shaken. Maybe it couldn't believe that it had been taken advantage of like that. But either way, it was lacking its usual composure. I know it's supposed to be a mere skill, but it's so human sometimes that it makes me smile a little. But I wasn't in any mood for that now. My sole emotion in that moment was anger. So I told Raphael to stop apologizing and find a way out of this mess. He replied that it had a gauge on our location and the analyze and assess process would be completed soon. Capable
Radio.
as always, I see.
I have.
Yeah.
I have a gauge in our location and analyze and assess our processing right now.
We're
Yeah.
loading. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be done
We're good,
soon.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's him. We're good, all right? We're getting out of here now, but what we're after is the ringleaders, okay? So listen, Veldora's fallen into the hands of Ludora. I'm going to spatial transport over to him. It's going to be a fight, so you guys need to prepare for that, okay? I was swallowing my anger. Didn't want to take it out on my friends, after all. That needed to be reserved for my enemies. They nodded back as I added one more order to the list. So now that we don't have access to Veldora's supply of magic power, we won't be able to ask Ramirez for very much. That means the city we kept in the labyrinth is going to be brought back up to the surface soon, so I need all of you to focus on defending it. Yeah, that was a matter of time. I couldn't imagine how much of a burden Ramirez was going through. We need to get back fast. I understand, Rimuru, but what about you? I'm taking Veldora back! That was job one for me. The rest, I told them, I would leave in their capable hands, and they understood without further comment. Wait a minute. Ain't you guys... Oh, this is Lapis. Wait a minute. Ain't you guys forgetting the most important thing? How the heck are we going to get out of here? Just when I was beginning to wonder why it was so quiet, Lapis suddenly started complaining again. But I had a simple answer for him. Just smash our way out. But that's crazy! I've heard a lot about this place. They call it the Phantom Fortress. It's in a whole nother dimension, and you could bet it ain't going to be easy to escape. It's where they banish anyone who causes trouble for them, they say. And that's I was glad he had so much knowledge about this, but I didn't have time for him right that minute. Good.
Report. Preparations are complete. You can now stream.
Hooray. Hooray.
Thanks, Raphael.
You're welcome.
Took you long enough, damn it.
It
Well, I
wasn't
like
my fault, fucker.
It's not. It
Raphael,
wasn't.
can you figure out what's wrong with my OBS? Ever since I installed Stream Elements, it just really
Delete
just been-
System
I'm
32
bad.
on your
Okay,
computer
okay.
instead.
No. Now you done fucked around. Now we're having this conversation. Now we're having this conversation.
No, we
okay.
don't. We don't need to
You
have this
weren't-
conversation.
No,
We
it's
got
too
an hour
late.
left.
You shouldn't have brought this up to the drunk guy. What did I say about fucking ad-libbing? Okay? What did I say about... See, Sonic, you brought this on yourself, sir. Rant begin. All right, listen.
Yourself.
Here's what you
I am
missed.
not responsible
This is
for
why
this.
it took an
Keep
hour.
doing this.
Their Discord audio would not pick up at all. Everything I tried closing OBS, opening OBS. I restarted my whole fucking computer. I uninstalled and reinstalled OBS. That's what you guys missed. None of it worked. You know what happened? I left the call, rejoined it, and suddenly, like a fucking miracle.
That was like the first thing
Yeah.
I said too.
That
I was
shit-
as a joke
here's-
too.
Here's the thing. Restarting my computer should have solved that.
That
That should,
really
that
should
should
have.
have restarted the call for you too.
It really
Literally
should
should
have.
have
What you
fixed
did
all of that.
afterwards.
I was so pissed. So whoever the hell the problem is designed by, fuck you and your mom's a hoe.
I said, whoever threw,
Through that page,
your
your mom's a hoe. Yeah, all right. So there you go. Sorry, Shim. Please
That's
continue.
okay. No problem. Okay, let's get going, let's get going. Laplace, I'm springing you out of here too. So once I do, you're free to go do whatever, okay? Huh? Wait, listen to me. Laplace was about to say something. I didn't care. I wanted to rescue Veldora ASAP and eliminate my enemies. And so, continuing to let my anger drive me, I triggered the spatial transport and reappeared exactly where I planned to. There was no hesitation at all. It was an unthinkable thing for me to do in normal times. I still didn't care. Before me, I could see 2 true dragons, and behind them, an airship. I was right in front of the enemy. All that remained was to kick some ass. But now
Look at
Raphael was
this.
warning me.
Look at how badass that is. Just, he
That is true.
escaped from a realm that should
Like-
not be possible, and he did it like that.
Yeah,
And went exactly,
You
not
don't
even
understand. This is so powerful.
a millimeter off from where he was targeted. Just like it was, like he was walking out to pick up the morning paper. Like
almost
nothing.
I was surprised he didn't just blow up the area he was in. He was trapped in. Just like, all right. He was like, you good? I'm a little better. Yes.
Keep in mind,
didn't
keep
just
in mind,
cheat him
guys,
away out of it.
And said, listen, I gotta go get some milk, okay?
Yep.
straight from the titty.
Yep.
All right.
Well, they
just
should have
wanted to
aimed for my
point that
head.
out. This is way more badass than we're making it seem, but like it's insane what just got
He
pulled off.
he
right here.
does. Yeah, he does have an insane amount of power,
We're
even
essentially
without
seeing
Veldora
how
and
much
all
power
that.
he really
lot of
has.
He
because
did
the
something,
Blue Dragon
too.
made a thing, and he
Here's-
said, fuck you.
Here's the 3 things. Here's the 3 very important things on here. Number 1, he did something that was considered impossible, and he did it like it was shrugging his shoulders. It was that simple of a thing for him. Like, it was effortless. He just did it. He sighed and it happened, you know? So, miracles take a little bit more work than that. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. true.
Second, he's disconnected from Veldora now. So he's not able to pull from Veldora's insane amount of magicules. So Rimuru did this all by himself. This is 100% Rimuru's power. He's not borrowing from anybody. He didn't grab from his underlings. This is just raw Rimuru. This should show you how crazy powerful Rimuru really is. And third, that shows you how broken of a skill Raphael is. But just wait, there's one more straight in name.
He just console commanded him out of there.
He literally was Control Alt Delete on
Just-
this
all right.
program. Yeah.
And, all
All
right.
right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. All good. But now Raphael was warning me incessantly about the danger. It was terribly annoying. I guess I had a gauge of the enemy's strength, but from my point of view, it was nothing but an obstacle. If I had decided to do something, I had no choice but to do it. I wasn't about to start fretting now. Do something, I ordered, shutting Raphael up.
Acknowledged. Summoning a demon is recommended as the best course of action.
Yeah,
that was basically Raphael's whole not fucking with the master this time moment.
Nope, we're fucking going.
Yeah, let's do. I'm on board with this. Let's fuck some people up. You know?
Yeah. Not a bad idea. If you're low on firepower, just add some more. And let's not end there either. In fact, let's finish evolving Testarossa in the gang, right here and now. I've been putting it off for a while, but we need everything we can tap right now. And then we can crush our enemies once and for all. See, now Velgren noticed us.
We just start off with the good shit. Let's just...
Yeah,
you know what?
Just,
those
we're
other
not
three,
fucking around.
Those other three demon fucking primordials, let's just evolve them now. Fuck everything.
Yep. Ain't no way.
Game should be play. If there was a song,
we're using the ether
right now. What do you think?
Some people just want to watch the world burn. The Dark Knight theme song.
Yeah.
Dark Knight theme. It's just for me. Just for me.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Should I continue?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now Velgren noticed us. Her eyes widened in surprise. What was it called again? The Phantom Fortress? I guess she really believed they had us all locked up in that thing. Thanks to Raphael's calculations, it wasn't even a problem. I'm connected to my friends through soul corridors, so if I trace those connections back to their origins, I can easily determine my exact location. Once I had that, spatial transport was available to me, even in other dimensions. Benimar and the rest were on high alert, trying to protect both me and the capital, Rimuru, which had reappeared far behind us. They really didn't have to worry. I was doing what I had to do. Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera, can you move? Yes, Sir Rimuru. Or Sir Rimuru. Yes, of course. Not a problem. How can I say no to a request from my master? All three replied in different ways. Whatever injuries they sustained weren't keeping them down, so that was a relief. So without further hesitation, it was time to make our first move in the liberation of Veldora. I would have adopted Raphael's suggestion and summoned the demons here, but then I got interrupted. Kondo was the first to move, presumably deciding that further inaction would be dangerous. I'd normally be well outside the range of his handgun, but he paid that no mind as he fired. A bullet raced toward me, going dozens of times the speed of sound. My thoughts, accelerated 1,000,000 times faster than normal, quickly grasped the nature of this attack. I reminded Raphael of its obligation to defend me, and it responded with a confident-sounding... Wait, is that
Raphael?
still...
I'm about to be shot here.
No.
Yeah.
No, I got you. Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Report. Barrier
Any
breaking.
second now.
Oh, no,
No.
it was... Yeah.
Oh, no,
It's
sorry.
a little
just
bit
simple
before that.
For whatever reason, they didn't bold
Yeah.
this one. It's just confident
And
sounding.
it responded,
acknowledged.
yeah.
Acknowledged.
Absolute defense, one of the skills Uriel gave me, would have no problem neutralizing this threat. Compared to the attack on Veldora, this was nothing at all. There we go.
Report. Barrier breaking attack detected. Successfully neutralized. Additional spirit and magic force destroying attack detected. Neutralized. Following an analyze and assess round on these attacks, they were found to involve the ultimate skill Sandalphon, Lord of Judgment, commencing countermeasures.
I let Raphael...
I feel like Raphael's like the guy, like the person just going like, all right, this happened, that happened, this happened. All right, here, counter-measuring that.
He's got
like,
the strategy guide.
It's
He's like,
it's
it's this
literally,
fucker.
It's literally
Right.
the Iron Man UI screen that we see in the mask. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
so
the
get
Linux
and
programmer being all like, "Oh, that's an interesting virus." Give me a second.
I'm hacking the bullet right now.
All
Hang
right,
on.
that's fixed.
I'm in.
I'm in Friendster. Reround.
I'm inside Sandalphon right now.
Got full console control, bitch.
Control out.
time.
Is Raphael Jarvis or Friday here?
Yep.
Jarvis,
It's absolutely
yeah,
shutting
fair.
things
the
down.
more powerful one. Yeah. All right. Anyway, continuing.
I let
Actually-
Raphael do its thing, huh? Oh, yeah.
Jarvis, but about to become Vision.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Okay. That's huge.
Age of Ultron
That's a big
Jarvis.
comparison, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I
Continue.
let Raphael... Oh, that's okay. I let Raphael do its thing as I glanced at Kondo, the Murata, and the others. I deal with them later. Whatever they attacked Veldora with was a threat, but Kondo didn't just use it on me, and I'm sure there was a reason for it. Maybe he couldn't use it for all I know. As for this attack, going at near the speed of light, it'd be impossible to evade if I was too close to it. But from this far, it was possible enough to deal with it in time, unless I got caught off guard. Despite that, there was no sign of Kondo moving from his location. Maybe he was protecting Ludora, but if so, I figured he could be ignored for now. so I finally said it. Come to me, demons! Call demon! Create summon gate! A huge magic circle appeared in the sky. Floating in the middle of it was a massive, ominous-looking gate, transcending space and time. It summoned the demons connected to me. The first to respond to my call were Testarossa and the other demonesses. They were soon followed by my 2 demon peers and 4 archdemons, along with 600 rank-and-file demons who served them. The majority of the Black Corps was now before me. Sir Rimuru, I have sent my legion to defend the city. Nice job, Diablo. He knows exactly what I want without me having to say a word. Venom was busy guarding Masayuki, but everyone else without previous assignments was here. Benimaru also retook command after leaving it with Moss, issuing orders to all his troops. Yeah, I didn't have to say a word. Yeah, and they were fully prepared to support me. Right. Let's wrap up this ritual quick before someone else interrupts me. As soon as I landed on the ground, the demons knelt before me. Testarossa and her friends, standing up front, were looking pretty sorrowful. Maybe they thought they failed to follow my orders. We are so sorry. They apologized as soon as they saw my face. Oh no, there's really nothing to apologize for. You would have kept Velgrin occupied, but I didn't know she was going to cheat with that parallel existence thing. That's on me. I mean, if you don't know about that, there's no way to deal with it. You can't form coherent strategies where you try to factor in every fantasy ability your opponent might have. There was no helping it this time. Besides, Testarossa and company helped a lot. Their work wasn't in vain at all. I wanted to express my gratitude more, but that could wait. Instead, I issued a stern order to the demons. Listen, I'm going to give you a bunch of power right now, but you have to promise me that none of you will go to sleep. If Diablo can put up with the on-the-spot evolution, all of you can too. Even I thought that was a pretty crazy thing to say. I'm not one to demand things I know I'm wholly incapable of. Here I was, this slime who couldn't stay awake for his own Harvest Festival evolution, and I was asking my demons to keep their eyes open for me. I suspected this made me look like a hypocritical boss, but now was no time for those thoughts. Boss. You can't keep up with me. Yeah, boss.
Boss.
If you can't keep up with me. Yeah, boss. If you can't keep up with me, you're going to be left behind. The 3 demonesses, perhaps reading my intentions, greeted my words with sneaky smiles. Can you do that for me? Of course I can. Absolutely. As you wish, my lord. All 3 of them looked confident enough, so without further ado, I granted souls to each of them. Failure wasn't something I gave a moment's thought to. So, if Testarossa and her friends went out of control, well, we could use that as a diversion at least. I had my priorities straight. I wouldn't be reshuffling them now. So as they began evolving, I spoke to the demons. You can rampage all you want for me, alright? I don't care how much death and destruction you deal, but I will not accept any of you dying, and I will not accept letting our foes stand in my way. Until I release Veldora, you will serve as my shield to hold them back. So I told them to sacrifice themselves, but don't die either. I know it's selfish, but that's who I am. What about Sir Veldora's sister? Diablo asked. I knew the answer to that one. She's not a problem. Mess with me, and that makes you my enemy. I won't hesitate to consume her. Diablo smiled happily at this. Yeah, I'm an eater.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking eat you, bitch!
Eat the whole ass. Yeah.
I was like,
not in a sexual way either.
No, that's great. That's great because
like,
he just shows up.
Yeah.
Rimuru just shows up on the demon. Rimuru just shows up on the battlefield and goes, "Girl, you looking like a whole ass snack." And she going, "What?"
I'll take a true dragon and eat it.
Yeah,
time to
go full Kirby, boys.
Yeah.
I like that he went and he said that too, and then one of the demons goes, "Oh," and he's like, not in a sexual way, like very serious, like.
They're all thinking it though.
Not
They're
sexually.
Not
Oh,
eat her. Oh man.
Oh man.
I'll talk to you later.
We'll discuss your bad behavior later.
Is that the moon demon?
I'm pretty sure the way Rimuru is, it would be more like if she enjoys it, that's her problem.
I mean,
that's on her, not me.
Some people are into vor. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
right?
This is not this. That is not.
Yeah, exactly. That is not the same.
I am so.
Anyway,
Diablo smiled happily at this. The others joined him. Benimaru with a wry grin, Soe with a cold one, Shion beaming from ear to ear as she began a pre-battle stretch. They were all dependable friends to me.
I love the idea of her just, all right, gotta limber up. Gotta limber up.
Right,
just like going for a swim.
Yep.
We get ready to swim, everybody. Just diving into battle.
We're gonna go crack some fucking heads. Let's get going.
I just love that notion of like, we're about to have a full-scale battle, and Shion's like, remember your stretches.
Yep. Remember your form. Keep your
All right,
back straight.
everyone, just be ready.
You gotta limber
Back
up
straight.
and stretch before a
Do a
big
shimmy.
war.
All right,
So
guys.
he's secretly
Right now,
doing his
when you
makeup in the
swing your
back, like, oh,
sword,
man, I gotta.
All right.
this,
Anyway,
okay, this
let's
Make sure
continue.
you're well fed. I'm working
Yeah.
on that right now.
Yeah.
God,
Don't ask how I got that. This is just appeared randomly.
lies.
No. Yeah. Boys. Allow us. Moss.
How did it happen? Moss.
Moss. Yeah.
Moss is handing me dinner.
Yeah.
Moss,
Moss.
I got the
Yeah.
boss.
Moss.
Yeah.
Moss brought the
Moss.
sauce for the boss.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I did get some.
Of course.
I got some.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Put sauce on it. Yeah.
Very good.
Noise.
Anyway,
This will not be a loss.
Moss. Yeah.
This will not be a loss. I am nowhere caught up on this line.
Except for her.
And the anime for that matter, but I just wanted to stop by. Oh, bro, Brad, I gotta tell you right now, the anime's nowhere near us. We're in like season 5
Yeah,
territory.
Oh yeah, we are
Yeah.
way ahead.
By the way, I'm looking
It's-
forward to
Anime
the
is so far
spring.
behind.
I'm looking forward to the spring. We're getting the second half of Mushoku Tensei and Slime season 3 in the same effing
Right?
season. Boy, Isekai
that was
fans are
right.
gonna be
Really
eating
bravo.
good. I mean, there's gonna be some trash
Very
Isekai.
good.
There's gonna be that basic ass trash Isekai, but like we're leaving the bargain bin where it belongs. The real
bargain
Isekai
bin.
front runners are
I-
up together. This never
I
happens. We
enjoyed
never get
Am I Really
Mushoku
the
Tensei.
Strongest though? That
We
was
never
a
get
fun one.
we never get like Mushoku Tensei and Slime, two peak isekai together in one season. Oh my god, this is great.
ever.
Also,
Also not fun.
this is gonna be beautiful because we're going to actually do. I'm gonna get you guys to sit down with me on maybe like a Monday afternoon or like a Sunday afternoon when we can and actually break down the new episode of Slime because it's like and bill it as thoughts on the anime from light novel readers. Cause you're all me now. You're all me.
Yeah.
This season of Slime is something that you've read, so you're ahead of everybody.
That could be a podcast idea
You're
too.
just reminding
Yeah.
me. Of
Well,
her
again,
from fucking
that's what I was
Zim.
talking about. We
Oh
would
my
do that, and I would put it on.
Okay.
I would put it
On
on
the
the
channel.
freaking channel. Yeah.
The Scuff
Not
Channel.
fat- the Scuff Channel.
Oh,
No, the Scuff Channel.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. We could name it that.
Scuff.
We could rename it Scuff
We
because
really could.
apparently it's just hidden.
Scoff the
Easily.
wasp.
Also, Scuff is a lot easier to Moss.
Scoff
Just
the
call
moss.
it Moss's Scuff, and nobody understands. But
Hey, guys,
the light novel
Moss here.
readers- If you don't
If
understand,
you're here right
you have
now,
to
you
read
get the reference. If you're not, then no idea. Then you have to
call
have a
it
the
preamp
light-
video.
You're like,
saying-
who's Moss? Why do you keep saying Moss? Why do you keep?
Yeah,
it's,
guys,
it's a
read
light
the
novel
light
thing. You got to
novel.
check out the
It'll-
slime light
He's
novels, man.
important. Yeah.
He's important.
He's a.
Oh my
he hands.
Yeah.
He's the one who hands me my dinners.
Okay, boss. Back to Moss.
Wasp. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
45%. Jesus Christ.
Mm.
We have 45% Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Okay.
But, I've had two
He's not fully
5%
loaded
and in my ice cream I was adding 45%.
Why are you
Damn.
adding ice cream to
That's
that? Why are
strong
you
ass
adding?
ice cream.
Yeah,
You put alcohol
Because
in your ice cream.
bitters.
Hey, Bailey's on ice cream
bitters
is
in
really
ice
good.
cream is amazing.
Yeah, it's
Fair.
awesome, dude.
Bitters on
Anyway.
ice cream is.
I have to
so
try it
good.
though.
She has the Scuff channel because she's the Scuff Queen Monarch / Amelie. You're
Scuff.
not wrong. You're not
Yeah,
wrong. Also,
you're
not.
anybody who calls that woman Shiego instead of Shigo.
Shiego.
What?
Yeah. Oh
sorry.
no, that's a thing. If you haven't looked it
Go,
up,
Shiego,
No, I
go.
saw the
No,
thumbnail. I
you
was
need
like,
to.
wait,
You need to check out. You need to check her shit out because, like, oh my god, Sayu.
Shigo, dude. Come
Sayu
on, dude.
called
See
her
the
out on
fucking
that.
Show.
It's
See
so
me on the
funny.
fucking show.
AKA Alejandro Saab, AKA
Yeah.
Sayu. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
Where's
Anyway,
she going that?
Book reading words.
they
I
were...
just want to get like a recording, like a cameo recording for the voice actress just saying my name is not freaking Shiego.
That'd be funny.
And have it sent
Yes,
to Amelie.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She'll pay the money for it. Anyway,
Go master.
they were all dependable friends to me. Allow us to work out the other distractions then. I nod at Benimara's words. Great. Now get out there and kill our enemies. As you wish.
You.
As-
God, there would be that one fucker who's like, "Shut up, Steve!"
He's already out in the distance, like running.
As you wish. Shut up, Steve!
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, not you, anyone but him. Get out of here, Steve.
Yeah.
No,
No, I'm fighting.
not
You,
time.
Master Rimuru said to fight. I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Then
Great.
fight and die for me.
Can't tell me what to do, Morse.
As you wish. Anyway.
As you wish.
Great. Now I could concentrate on Veldora without any regrets. I turned my attention to him. While I was getting ready, it looked like Velgrin had prepared to engage me. She'd taken some magicals from Veldora, and by the looks of it, she was fully recovered. That healing skill is the real key to her, isn't it? She recovered in such a short period of time because of all the magicals Veldora had stored up. But now Veldora was hostile towards me. Without a doubt, he had become Emperor Ludora's puppet. Seemed like Velgrin wanted to go at me too, so I guess I had two true dragons to deal with. It was going to be tough, but I had to do it. As I told Diablo, if Velgrin was going to be our enemy, we had to beat her. Hang on, Veldora. I'll get you out of there right away. Those words, I spread my wings and took flight. There's the crew.
Yeah.
After Rimuru flew away... Oh, sorry.
Don't mind me.
What did you say? Oh. After Rimuru flew away, those who remained on the scene swiftly moved into action. Benimaru began handing out appropriate instructions, leveraging his grasp on the battlefield. At the same time, he sent out thought communications to the top brass over in the city, asking them to go into emergency mode at once. So he dispatched his replications far and wide to gather information, and Diablo, most of all, was absolutely beside himself with excitement. Did you see it, everyone? Sir Rimuru is finally going to show us his true colors. Shion rolled her eyes at him. You fool! Sir Rimuru is always showing his true colors, no matter the situation. Leave the excitement for later. We must concentrate on crushing our enemies. It was an odd way of putting it, but Shion was right on the money. Diablo was understandably surprised to see Rimuru on the rampage for the first time, but now was not the time for that. As Benimaru declared, it was their role as Rimuru's top soldiers to handle the extraneous distractions. That was the edict from Rimuru, and for his underlings, his words was gospel. Well, for the demons summoned by Rimuru. Yeah, I mean, interesting choice of words in the Church of Rimuru, but you know.
God.
No!
He ran.
No! No!
Jesus.
No! No!
Bad.
No!
Bad.
No!
Bad.
No!
There's footsteps in his footsteps.
Bad.
Lightning in his lightning.
Yeah, there's
For the
footstep
demons
behind
summoned.
the knee prints.
Yeah. For the demons summoned by Rimuru, this was a supreme pleasure. Their faces were full of joy, and they all bristled with strength, as if answering the call for service. It was obvious from their demeanor how eagerly they had been waiting for the call to come. Rimuru, demonstrating the sheer depth of his anger, was about to unleash his fearsome powers of destruction. The order he gave was simple enough. Kill all our enemies! With this command, the demons were burning to set off on their mission. As our lord wishes. The fearless demons were now ready to throw themselves into battle for the sake of their lord. But, wait. A single word from Diablo made all the demons focus their attention on him. He raised one hand to put them at ease. Do you understand Sir Rimuru's order? He stated that not even one of you may die. Know that death would be a mortal sin, one that would be unforgivable even if we all offered our heads to him. Diablo's resonant declaration silenced the demons. His smile instilled more fear than reassurance in them. And again, it was totally irrefutable. Silently, the demons waited for further instructions. It was Benimaru who spoke first. I'd say Diablo is right. He may be immortal, but don't you dare take solace in that. Such hair-splitting is no excuse against Sir Rimuru. Just because they could be resurrected after some time was no reason for them to die. Benimaru wanted to make sure that was clear to the demons. They grew quiet, realizing the error in their assumptions. So, Diablo said, we are going to assign you your roles. Sir Benimaru, can you handle that for me? What about you? Benimaru asked, wondering if Diablo would be willing to do what he asked of him. Oh, leave me out of it if you could. There's a certain rat I'm interested in, so I'm going to deal with him first. Benimaru shrugged at the reply. He figured Diablo would say something like that, and he was right. I see. Well, do whatever you like then. Diablo, the way Benimaru understood it, was not to be bothered. The demon answered directly to Rimuru, so not even Benimaru had the authority to order him around. But Diablo had entrusted him with a job, so Benimaru began giving out orders. Alright. Excuse me. Alright, Diablo, you are hereby free to go. Moss will continue to send me information from the battlefield. As before, you may travel anywhere on the battlefield as you like, as long as you keep Sir Rimuru's order in mind. Diablo nodded, smiling, as Moss voiced his agreement.
Moss.
His replications were already scattered across the field, and his thought communication gave him a live, real-time connection to Benimaru's mind.
That
You
is
better not
literally the
exclude me.
biggest cheat skill of this whole battle.
Yeah.
I can't underestimate how vital Moss is to this battle. All right.
Yeah, he's going to be doing some work.
Right.
Yeah. You better not exclude me, Shion indignantly stated. She had access to spatial transport, but could only teleport to locations she could physically see. She wasn't very good at calculating the required coordinates otherwise. Benimaru gave this a small chuckle as he nodded. Of course not. We'll be counting on your strength in battle. I sense 8 notable presences on the airship, not including Emperor Ludora. They might be a little tough, but it won't be as reckless a battle as Sir Rimuru's. Even without Diablo, we should be able to hold our own. The battlefield will be rather tricky as well, warned Soe. 30,000 enemy reinforcements are streaming onto the scene. Benimaru was aware of this, of course. I know. That's why it's a race against time. I've ordered Gabiru to stall for us as long as he can, so we have to bring the Emperor into custody before anyone gets killed. Soe and Shion nodded at Benimaru's bold words. These were Rimuru's orders, and Benimaru had no other choice. He needed to fulfill his wishes with all his might so he could draw up a plan he believed was the best. On the battlefield, their primary objective was to buy time as they struck at the airship. The biggest menace here. This, they decided, will help prevent an attack on the city. Incidentally, the 8 presences mentioned by Benimaru consisted of a Velgrin replication left as insurance and the single digits gathered on the airship. These were Lieutenant Kondo, Damrata, the 4 knights guarding the Emperor, and finally Marco. None of them were hiding their presence, so Benimaru's unique skilled born leader was able to detect them. Suddenly, Benimaru received some good news. Geld just contacted me. His evolution is complete, so he's woken up. Geld, the Barrier Lord, had awakened, and in response, all of his men were beginning to open their eyes as well. Soon they would join the defense of the city. That's good news, or that's very good news. If Sir Geld is joining the city defense, we should be able to relieve the Diable Chevaliers. The Diable Chevaliers of that duty, excuse me. Can I put them under my command? We don't have access to Venom, so we can't engage in any full group maneuvers. I will let each of you make your own decisions, depending on the war situation. Understood. So after a brief exchange, everyone had their roles. All that remained now was to trust in their victory. But there was one more thing to consider. Now, are you all able to fight? Benimaru was addressing Testarossa and her friends. He wasn't going to quibble about this. He just needed to know whether they could be expected to serve in battle. No need to ask them. If anyone answered no to that question, I would kick them out of the force. Diablo turned his attention to the demonesses. They stood up, not requiring any further pressure from him. What a foolish question. There is nothing Diablo can do that I can't. It sounds a little harsh, but I don't have a problem with it. I like to fight, after all. If I'm going to live up to your expectations, I can't afford to make another mistake. Now is no time for rest. The trio was united in their desire to serve Sir Rimuru. The same went for their own servants. All the demons were rapidly completing their evolution, and it was with the greatest of joy that they received the orders they were waiting for. Some asterisks. It's like, fuck yeah, we are. Let's do this. Yeah! It's chapter 2, baby. As of that moment, Testarossa and Ultima and Carrera, like Diablo, had evolved into Devil Lords.
Sorry, I just saw the comment, dying is punishable by Shion's cooking. I'm like, damn it.
They all straighten up and they gamer lean.
Nice.
Just... It's time.
Like,
yeah.
Did the whole...
Like, collectively.
Super concentration, the veins popping
No, just...
Mission,
Yeah.
From this
murder
position
everyone.
to
That'll
this
do it.
position.
Boss, this
Yeah,
wasn't from Shion, was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Sheeta cooked that one. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
As of that moment, Testarossa, Ultima, and Carrera, like Diablo, had evolved into Devil Lords. This made them virtual demigods, among the strongest in the world, capable of defeating even a demon peer without much fuss. This meant that all 7 primals had become the same rank of being, with no restrictions placed upon them. Just as Diablo's servant, Venom, became a demon peer, those serving under the 3 demonesses received similar evolutions. Moss and Veyron remained demon peers, but their magical count increased to the point where they were comparable to awakened demon lords. The other 4, Agera, Esprit, Zonda, and Cien, had reached the level as demon peers that surpassed even budding demon lords. In both name and reality, they had evolved to the highest level of demondom. They were all the same rank now, but there were clear differences in their abilities. These differences were reflected in the noble titles they were given. Moss was now Grand Duke, comparable to a king.
Mm-hmm.
Veyron was classified as a duke, Agera as a marquis, Esprit as a count, and Cien and Zonda as viscounts. Venom was also recognized as a baron. Among the others, there were several brand new archdemons post-evolution. They would serve as commanders at the equivalent of knights, and they would need to spend many more years attaining or working to attain a noble rank. The remainder of the group, nearly 600 strong, would become Diabolist Chevaliers, comparable to high-level Magic-born. They were stronger, they were evolved, and thus they could be even more helpful to Rimuru than ever. The demons demonstrated their willingness to join the battle. Benimaru nodded at them, satisfied. Very good. Let's see what you can do then. The 3 demonesses and their armies were hurriedly asked to join the airship assault. It was an order Benimaru gave without hesitation, as if he meant to do so from the beginning. Well then, Lady Testarossa, I need you to clean up the trash for me. Can you do it? Yes, of course. A simple task. Wait a minute! I want to do that! I can handle it too, you know! Benimaru had given Testarossa the order, but Ultima intervened. He didn't let it faze him. I don't care which of you does it, but please keep the airship intact. It needs to serve as the battlefield where we'll settle our differences with Emperor Ludora. Ultima, I asked Sir Benimaru to assign you your roles. If you disagree with them, you are going against my will. Consider that before you speak. Ultima was lucky that Diablo was in an excellent mood. Normally, that comment would have merited punishment for her. This time, all he gave was a little admonishment. Well, too bad. Too bad. I guess I'm not all that suited for it anyway. I'll follow Sir Benimaru's instructions. Ultima realized immediately after she said it that her mouth was getting her in trouble. So relieved that there were no further consequences, she gladly put the matter behind her. Her youthful innocence occasionally led to mistakes like this, but even she had a good knack for reading the situation. Let's continue, Benimaru said, handing out roles to the remaining members. First, Testarossa took over the task of eliminating the knights guarding the Emperor's flagship. Following that, Benimaru went over to who would charge in behind her. He mentioned 4 names, Shion, Soe, Ultima, and Carrera, and he would naturally be joining them as well. Emperor Ludora is unlikely to make any moves. If he does, all we have to do is hit him hard. Instead, we must focus on defeating Velgrin's separate body and the other 7 single digits. If so, we're going to be outnumbered. But, oh well. I will take care of 2 of them, or 3 even. Benimaru quieted Shion down before she shook on any more tasks. Wait a minute, Shion. You're right. But it's not a good idea to take work away from other people. He then turned his attention to Veyron and the others, waiting for assignments with hopeful expressions on their faces. Listen, he said, you can never let your guard down. We will attack with maximum force, using only the numbers we need. You can expect to be put to work, Lady Testarossa. I should hope so. Testarossa smiled. She didn't say it out loud like Ultima, but if Benimaru ordered her to stay back, she would have been extremely unhappy. Let's keep 100 guards on duty to make sure no one escapes the airship. I want the remaining 500 Diabolist Chevaliers to support Gabiru and his team, but who should command them? I think Cien would be the right person for the job. He knows Moss well and is gifted at handling such chores. Cien looked up when his name was called. His eyes teared up a bit, perhaps out of joy of Testarossa deigning to remember he existed. All right, Cien, get moving at once. Yes, sir. He immediately sprang into action, leaving his own army of 100 and flying off with everyone else in tow. It was thanks to his quick action that Gabiru and his army would later be spared total destruction.
Damn.
So, yeah, like, holy shit. So their direction was decided. Testarossa would stage the initial attack with their top elites storming the airship behind her. 100 Diabolist Chevaliers would blockade the Emperor's airship as Benimaru, Shion, Soe, and the others performed the raid. 3 Devil Lords and 4 Demon Peers would also be headed into battle. Veyron, Agera, Esprit, Zonda, you should be thankful you were chosen, said Carrera, but she was likely the happiest out of all of them. Well, good luck to you all. With the conversation settled, Diablo sent them off with a smile. Testarossa was the first to respond. Well, if any of them survive what I have for them, make sure you mop them up for me. Can't have any of those filthy beasts escaping. Testarossa turned to her servant demons, ordering them to serve as her pack of hunting dogs. They didn't need to be told to, but nobody voiced that complaint. Besides, they weren't sure whether anyone could survive against her right now. Once the order was made, Testarossa quickly set off, turning her attention towards her prey. Benimaru and the others followed suit and took flight, with Veyron and his kind coming right up behind them. The other demons spread themselves wide, positioning themselves to surround the single airship. Soon, the decisive air battle was ready to begin. Before they started, however, a thought occurred to Ultima. So what are you up to anyway, Diablo? Asked Ultima. Carrera turned towards Diablo, curious. He looked a little surprised, but then smiled serenely at the duo. As I intimated to you, I have an important role to play. That smile made them increasingly suspicious. You said something about a rat, Carrera added. Who is it? That's nothing you need to know. Whoa. Hang on, Diablo. It's not a good idea to keep secrets, don't you think? Yeah, agreed Ultima. Sir Rimuru always talks about how important it is to share information. Diablo had no other choice. I have the noble mission of watching over the glorious Sir Rimuru in combat. It is a vital role to take, and I cannot leave it to any of you. It was an outrageous thing to say. You know? I get to watch him in spectator mode alone.
I'm watching. Aren't you gonna help it
Amazing.
out?
Anyway.
No.
Yeah,
I have the
good.
most important job of all. Witnessing his greatness.
Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway.
Mm.
I'm fucking
It was-
crying.
No, don't cry.
No,
It's okay.
it's happy tears. I'm laughing so hard.
Okay,
I'm
good.
crying. Yeah.
Good. It was an outrageous thing to say, and he shamelessly came out with it. Lucky for him that Benimaru wasn't there
Right.
or here, but then again, if he was, he would probably just roll his eyes and sigh at him. Either way, it went on without saying that Ultima and Carrera were less than convinced. What? Oh, come on! I want to see Sir Rimuru in action too! Wait a minute, let me ask you something. Are you alone going to enjoy that perk? Because even if you are our boss, that doesn't excuse you acting like a tyrant. It was a perfectly natural reaction to have. Ultima wondered why nobody asked this question when Benimaru was around, but Carrera knew well that the odds were stacked against them. If Testarossa were here, it'd be a different story, but with just Ultima and herself, there was simply no wrangling Diablo. Oh, do we have a problem with this? Of course we do, Ultima protested. I'll follow your orders, said Carrera, but I can't say I like them much. Diablo pondered a moment. Well, all right. I will tell you the truth then. You see, there is someone on the enemy's side capable of controlling and manipulating alternate dimensions. I think it is likely Lady Valgren, but if you get caught in her trap, you may have all connections to this world taken away from you. I see. It would be a good idea to leave someone behind then, Diablo solemnly nodded. Exactly. I would like to be part of the fight, but sadly, it is not meant to be. He chuckled inwardly at himself. Already, he was nimbly talking his way out of this.
God
His brain had
fucking
the...
damn it.
That's a good excuse, though.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't
Yeah, 'cause
want
it's
to be
true.
teleported away.
Yeah. His brain had the fairly useless talent of coming up with the best excuses in the world. And Mac Rimuru took
Feels,
advantage of
mate.
sometimes, too. Damn. Truly a demon to the core.
Diablo, I
Ultima.
need you to be a politician right now.
Yeah. Indeed, I can. Anyway, Ultima, however, was sharper than him. So who's the rat? Diablo sneered without showing it on the surface. The idea of having a front row seat for the battle between Rimuru and Valgren put him in a good mood, but having these pests refuse to go away from him was getting frustrating. It's a pity, Ultima. I would have thought you'd know without me having to tell you. The sarcasm was his way of fighting back. There was no practical reason for hiding it. It's Yuki Kagarazaka. I had my feelers out, but I'm afraid I've seen no sign of Yuki so far. If he's hiding somewhere on the airship, that would be ideal. But if he wants to mess with Sir Rimuru, we can't just leave him there, can we? True, that would go against Sir Rimuru's orders. Right, we can't let him get in our way. Exactly. I don't know what this rat's objective is yet, but at the very least, one of us needs to stay here and watch over Sir Rimuru. Half of this was Diablo's selfish desire to watch Rimuru fight. The other half was pretending he had a proper role to play here. To Diablo, the former was much more important, but either way, Ultima and Carrera accepted his argument, miffed as they were by it. Well, all right, said Carrera. I'll just take my frustration out on their side. Yes, by all means. And you don't have any objection to us going on a rampage? And you don't have any objection to us going on a rampage, do you? Asked Ultima. Of course not. In fact, you can even dispatch Ludora if you like. That sounds fun. We'll take you up on it then. Totally. Okay, I'm gonna go work out some of my frustrations on those guys. Diablo nodded vigorously. If that was all it took to convince them, it was a small price to pay. Carrera and Ultima took off in a hurry, not wanting to miss out on any of the good stuff, and Diablo sent them off with a smile and a good luck before he headed to Rimuru. There, after everyone went away, Laplace was alone with his thoughts. Nobody even... He's just sitting there.
Poor fucking Laplace. Poor fucking Laplace.
He's just sitting there.
It's like the
What about
Avengers just
me?
went. It's like the Avengers just went off to fight Thanos, but they forgot.
Hawkeye's just like-
they forgot Peter from Deadpool 2. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
It's like the thing from 2.5
it's
Men.
like
and
Hawkeye.
I feel like we forgot something, didn't we? Right?
He's
Yeah, it's
fucking-
nothing important.
If
Yeah,
you
it's not
forgot,
bad.
it
See
was-
Lapis
it's
in the
probably
rain.
Because even
not-
waiting.
Falcon
Yeah,
can
you're
fly
right.
and keep up with them, so...
All right, here we go.
There, after everyone went away, Laplace was alone with his thoughts. Nobody even cares about me, huh? Being left behind like this made him feel a little sorry for himself. Well, I guess I'll go help out Lady Kagami then. Reporting on his plans to no one in particular, Laplace went on his way. And then, before anyone knew it, things began changing. The monsters were resonating with Rimuru's anger, using it to evolve themselves. Before anyone knew it, the situation had moved on. At a tremendous rate, they fully reboot their bodies, acquiring new abilities, all of which, via the skill food chain, added to Rimuru's own power stores without him even realizing it. It happened with Geld.
Insane.
Like they just beef up, and then Rimuru's like, "Oh, hey, more beef."
Yeah.
Nice.
Rimuru literally
Where's
gets
the
an
beef?
extra power
I
up.
have all of it.
Literally, Rimuru gets a power up anytime his subordinates power up.
That's fucking
That's
huge.
broken.
So yeah, that is broken.
All right, guys, I'm mad. So
Yeah.
Which is funny because he's the one who powers them up. So
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
just—it's like an endless self-feeding thing. So
Yeah,
it's like,
it's a
an
self-feeding loop.
Ouroboros.
It's great. All right,
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, an Ouroboros. Good
Yep.
way of stating it.
yeah. It happened with Geld, who was awake and responsive again, and it was happening with all the eerie and unexpected evolutions seeing among the monsters. Others, still asleep, would follow in their footsteps. And this was about more than just awakenings and evolutions. Everything was managed with top efficiency, becoming a major factor in boosting Rimuru's power. It would be more effective, more practical, and in time, Rimuru's full force would be released, surpassing limits that no one was even aware of yet. Several men stood at the bow of the Emperor's flagship. Ludora was up front, with Kondo and Damrata behind him and on either side. They were guarded by 4 knights in a square formation around them, ranked from 3rd to 6th in the Imperial Order. Marco was also behind Kondo, along with the remaining single digits. Velgren would always be found seated to the right of Ludora. This last replication of hers was put in place to protect Ludora if anything should happen. But she needed to focus on the battle with Rimuru, so right now she was leaning against Ludora in her seat, limp and unconscious. Ludora, who was gently stroking Velgren's blue hair, noticed the Demon Lord Rimuru began to take action. He is something else entirely now, the Emperor muttered in disgust. That was my error of judgment. Perhaps it was the slime who we needed to deal with first. It was, in essence, the Emperor admitting that the battle wasn't so finished after all. Until just a little earlier, the whole airship wasn't a party move after capturing Veldora. Now there wasn't any trace of it. They saw that Rimuru and his force were their enemies. The Demon Lord was back, and so were all of his highest Magic-born. At this point, though, they still had time to act. I suppose I underestimated his ability to escape the Phantom Fortress. Having their master and main power source taken away must have made them desperate to return. Ludora smiled at this, but given how Rimuru completely neutralized Kondo's attack, maybe he couldn't be too optimistic. Most urgently of all, Rimuru now had an army of demons with him. Such a quantity of incarnated greater demons was a handful in itself, but he was boosting all their powers even further. Ludora had no idea why he would do that, but that was exactly why he needed to be wary. You didn't cut any corners, did you, Tatsuya? Of course not. Of course not. Neither a removal nor a necrosis bullet worked on him. It appears defeating him will require a serious fight. Seeing the Demon Lord Rimuru like this made Kondo wonder if he had failed somehow as well. As Ludora said, it was clear he was an extremely dangerous opponent. He had given priority to capturing Veldora, but that turned out to be a mistake. They should have attacked both at the same time, not one or the other. But that conclusion had come too late. Things were on the move. Yeah, but... excuse me. They knew that the Demon Lord Rimuru was no one to take lightly, hence why they used an assortment of tricks to ensnare him, so they could more fully address him later. They decided that once Veldora, Rimuru's main supporter, was taken away, the Demon Lord would naturally be in a mood to give in to them. Now, however, Kondo's decision had clearly backfired on him. Yeah. Just as losing Rimuru would incite fury in Veldora, losing Veldora would cause the exact same reaction in Rimuru. Kondo, realizing early on that the Demon Lord's ire was pointed straight at them, tried to finish him off before anything else happened. He fired both a removal and a necrosis bullet at him. That combination was the most powerful tool at his disposal if a judgment bullet wasn't available. But the results didn't even scratch Rimuru, much less impede him at all. The idea that this Demon Lord would be rendered helpless after being deprived of his power source now seemed incredibly foolish. What they should have pictured instead was an enraged tyrant spreading his wrath worldwide after the loss of his ally. No, Kondo wasn't cutting corners. He needed to seriously engage him, or else they were all doomed. Well, if you think so, these 4 knights will not be enough. Let's test out Veldora now that we have him and see how he fares. Ludora didn't need Kondo to spell out how much of a threat Rimuru was. He had him do it anyway, so everyone else on the bow here would be on the same page as him. The single digits were extremely talented people. Reminding them of the threat the enemy posed would serve as a warning not to let up too early. Rimuru was a threat, yes, but as long as they kept their guard up, he could be dealt with. No, know about
I
that.
have no idea.
They fucked around and they found out.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
Yep. Well, they will find
No,
out.
they haven't found out yet.
Yep.
That's the problem.
They're in the
Yep.
Not
process of
quite.
finding out.
You can't
No,
blame
they're
them
in
too
the
much
beginning.
for being
They're,
cocky as they
they're in the
are.
beginning stages of finding out.
The fucking around is increasing along with the,
The
finding out.
is
The more you fuck
Yeah.
around, the more you're gonna find out.
Exactly.
They keep
Dora
fucking
didn't
around.
want to.
The find out is just gonna be.
It's
It's
finding out
exponential. It is
just getting-
exponential.
yeah, it's getting exponentially
Yeah.
worse for them. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yes.
Ludora didn't want to lose any of the manpower he gathered here. The game's climax was coming up, and he wanted to be extremely cautious. Ideally, he would defeat Guy without losing a single person. Situationally speaking, their victory was all but imminent. The Empire had just gained a huge advantage in capturing Veldora. Bringing Ludora was just one step away from ending this long-running struggle. Making a mistake here would be inexcusable. That was why, out of an abundance of caution, Ludora decided to pit Veldora against Rimuru. If he had Velgrin support him, there was no way anything could go wrong. Kondo and his team, meanwhile, could be entrusted to handle Rimuru's remaining forces. That didn't seem to be any problem. If possible, Ludora had wanted to recruit Rimuru for his side, but now that it had come to this, he had no choice but to exterminate him. Veldora was their main objective, and now that they had him, having the Demon Lord derail their plans was unthinkable. Compared to a true dragon, a Demon Lord was as vulnerable as a small mouse, and while Rimuru was admittedly a threat, Ludora didn't see any way this operation could fail for them. A true dragon is the strongest creature in the world, and if they had two on their side, Rimuru's defeat seemed inevitable in their minds. But Ludora's mind wasn't completely free of concern. Back there, why did Veldora stop resisting my thrall over him? That was the only nagging issue. Given enough time, Ludora was bound to fully take him over either way. Perhaps Veldora gave up on the fight because he realized this, but to Ludora, that didn't seem like the only reason. Through Regalia Dominion, he had received personal insight into Veldora's rage. He could tell the dragon wasn't the sort who would resign himself to his fate so easily. Doubts began swirling in his mind. Perhaps he was trying to protect something more important than himself? And if so, what could it be? Ridiculous. Ludora shook his head, denying the idea out of hand. The mere thought that Veldora had put the Demon Lord Rimuru ahead of himself seemed impossible to accept. Oh, little do you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Velgrin, Velgrin, back in human form, approached Veldora, nestling up to his head and stroking his scales. Good boy. The next time you wake up, you will be one of us. Then we'll give you the best care in the world. She could see the end of their long game on the horizon, but it wouldn't come that easily for them. Suddenly, Rimuru appeared. The sight of this tactless interloper put Velgrin off, making her feel ever so slightly threatened. That, or the way he managed to escape the Phantom Fortress, stuck in her mind. As she pondered what to do, the situation took an unexpected turn. In a show of force, Rimuru was summoning a large number of demons and awarding them new powers. This was nothing but a provocation. He was exposing his hand in front of Velgrin in an almost too bold act, all but demanding Velgrin to try catching him if she could. What's more, Testarossa and her friends were mixed in with the demons Rimuru summoned. She didn't know what he did or how he did it, but Rimuru evolved them into Devil Lords, a higher plane of existence. Sensing this, Velgrin began to grow wary of Rimuru, but that wasn't all she found unusual. The aura emitted by Rimuru's anger was similar to that of her brother Veldora. A mere slime, Demon Lord or not, was enveloped in a kind of sheer dominance a true dragon always possesses. It was an unbelievable sight for Velgrin, but it was the truth. That alone demonstrated just how abnormal this whole situation was. If an aide briefed her on that, she could have laughed it off as impossible, but seeing it with her own eyes, she had no choice but to believe it. This Demon Lord, looking for all the world like a young girl, wasn't even trying to restrain the violent waves of intense anger, waves that clearly indicated the potential danger. Any human being who didn't possess resistance to these waves would die on the spot, not just humans either. Anyone you'd call strong, perhaps ranking below an A as defined by humans, would die without even having a chance to resist. It was Lord's ambition in play. Holy shit. On a scale overwhelming enough to compare to a true dragon. Wow. Well, what now then? I suppose those primals were helping him too. I thought he had just tricked my brother into providing him aid, but that was beyond wrong. If it were only Veldora, she could believe the possibility that the Demon Lord had used honey words to deceive him. But that wouldn't work against demons as sly and experienced as these. They should have reconsidered their plans once that became clear. As this bout of Lord's ambition showed, the Demon Lord Rimuru was clearly in a class of his own.
Yeah.
Looking back, absolutely. Looking back, Veldora's growth was pretty astounding too. 300 years ago, it would have been impossible for him to ever wound Velgrin. In the short time since he was released from his seal, he had become an unusually skilled fighter, going well beyond her expectations. Perhaps that, too, was due to the Demon Lord in front of her.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Little do you know. And here I was, planning to go back home to rest and recuperate. But oh well, if we can't get rid of him here, it'll spell disaster for Ludora. So Velgren made her decision. It was time to deal with Rimuru directly and crush him once and for all. It had to happen now, she thought, or else he'd surely remain a threat for ages to come. She was all set when it came to magicals, too. Veldora would be providing those. Even after that intense round of combat, he hadn't exhausted his stores much at all. In other words, she was free to fight at full strength from start to finish. So Velgren calmly returned to her fighting stance, abandoning the victory is ours idea that everything was going their way. That kind of baseless pride was what put them in there in the first place. If they dealt with Rimuru over in the Phantom Fortress, he would never have summoned those demons. Then the fight with Veldora really would have been it. In that sense, things weren't looking too great now, but it wasn't the worst case scenario yet. They still had a good chance of victory, and as long as they didn't make any missteps, they weren't likely to run into too many problems.
I'll give it time. Give it time. It can develop into the worst case scenario.
Yep.
Give it a minute. Just give it a minute.
Karma.
We're yellow flagging right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's answered immediately, but all the lead-up seemed to pay off anticlimactically. Contrary to all of Valgren's expectations, it was only Rimuru coming at her. Victory is mine, then. If he had his entire army join him, it would have been a rough slog, but no matter how wary she needed to be of him, Velgren knew that if she and Veldora worked together, defeat was impossible. Even so, however, this needed to be wrapped up immediately. If the Demon Lord's army got in the way, it'd do nothing but prolong this battle. Better to keep it short and sweet instead, Velgren thought. She always preferred to follow her gut instincts that way. Ludora, give Veldora the order to strike the Demon Lord Rimuru with all his might for me. Could you? You're as wary of him as I am, then. In that case, no need for hesitation. Veldora, defeat the enemy before you. Responding to her request, Ludora activated Regalia Dominion. Velgren was relieved to see the Emperor taking this as seriously as she was, and since she knew he'd never let his guard down, victory now seemed assured. It was one Demon Lord against two true dragons. Any other result was impossible to consider. And so the terrifying battle was about to begin.
Yeah, baby, let's keep going.
I want to take a sip of water for this one.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Rimuru flew towards Velgren, was poised and ready.
I like Spider's comment. He is the entire army. Like, yeah.
I am the army.
I have an army. We
have a Rimuru.
Rimuru. Yeah.
We have a Hulk.
Yeah. Rimuru flew towards Velgren.
Hulking out right now.
No.
Yeah.
Rimuru eats your Hulk.
Yeah, he's very strong.
He is the Hulk, the new Hulk.
Yeah.
The blue Hulk.
Rimuru flew towards. Yeah. The bulk.
The bulk.
The
bulk.
Yeah, the bulk.
The bulk.
Rimuru flew towards Velgren, who was poised and ready to engage him. In front of him, Veldora let out a roar into the sky. The impact shook the very atmosphere. Veldora himself took off in the midst of it, Velgren following behind him. The roar echoed with the certainty of sheer victory, and then the attacks began, each one aiming to annihilate Rimuru. From the very first move, Veldora went all out. The storm blast, that roar of destruction that pained Velgren as well, coursed towards Rimuru.
Report. Storm blast detected. Using Uriel, Lord of Val's skill, absolute defense to neutralize and dispel each wavelength.
Raphael automatically began taking defensive action. It was interrupted by Rimuru's shouted order. No, evade, you idiot! It immediately carried this command out, but part of its computing circuitries found it impossible to gauge Rimuru's intentions. Out of several behavior patterns it assessed, staging a counterattack after absolute defense seemed the most optimal solution. The fact that Rimuru, its master, dismissed this out of hand made it a little upset. In a very, very tiny part of its computational region, Raphael was confused. Rimuru had ignored its opinions many times before, but this was different. Something Raphael detected because it worked with Rimuru for a long time. It was perhaps unusual in itself that a skill, part of the natural laws of the world, would hold such feelings at all, but Raphael and Rimuru weren't considering the consequences at the moment. The storm blast brushed past Rimuru as he took evasive action. Immediately after, the absolute defense that would normally be protecting him was penetrated. An explosion took place where Rimuru was just a moment ago, the storm blast scattering destruction in its wake. Any delay to his evasive action now, or just now, would have resulted in injury. Raphael, seeing this, grew more confused.
A computing error? An unexpected contingency? I do not understand.
Why did Rimuru know what was coming? Its computation was perfect. There would never be any mistakes. Raphael began scanning the data on hand, looking for something it might have overlooked, but even calculating at speeds that easily exceed the latest in quantum computers. The cause of the issue remained unknown.
Confusion. According to estimates, it should have been 100% defendable.
The words leaked out unintentionally. They didn't need to be said. It was Raphael making excuses, one of the most probable things in the world. A mere skill should never make excuses, but nobody noticed it. The battle was in full swing, and now was no time to fully examine this.
Oh,
Rimuru...
a personality is developing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
There's
Nice.
questioning going on.
Oh yeah. There's some things.
AI is happening. It is.
Yeah.
No. It was already an AI. Self-awareness is happening.
Yep.
That's
It's becoming
that's-
sentient.
that's way scarier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
For them.
Rimuru, for them, yeah. Rimuru continued to reprimand the confused Raphael. Quit fooling around. Veldora has Faust, and part of that is the skill control probability, right? Real bad news. Then Raphael remembered. Rimuru was absolutely right. Why did it forget about something so important? It was so strange, and only then did Raphael realize that something really was wrong with him. Something, it reasoned, had to be interfering with it. The cause was unknown.
Oh shit.
Interesting.
Yep.
This makes a lot of sense because of volume 16. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It spent a moment pondering over whether to tell Rimuru. Its pride made it very difficult to simply tell him it didn't know the cause. But if it didn't, there was a strong possibility that Rimuru could suffer damage as a result. After some more computations, it determined it was best to tell him. But having Rimuru branded as incompetent would be akin to Raphael losing its whole basis for existence. Even thinking any of this was an act of betrayal against its lord, a skill wavering like this was something that should have never happened. But despite it all, Rimuru's words continued to flow into the increasing befuddled Raphael. Veldora is a reckless fighter. It's not weird at all that he's outperforming even your perfect calculations. Don't get worked up just because he made a little mistake. That's how unpredictable he is. Quit worrying about it. Just believe in yourself. I'll handle Veldora, so you do something about Velgrind. Rimuru was talking to Raphael like he thought it best to keep it informed. Raphael was only a skill, and he was treating it like a real partner. All right? There's 2 of them, but with you and me, that makes 2 as well. If you can hold Velgrind down, I can free Veldora in the meantime. So you gotta hold out, okay? No matter what it takes.
I'm so glad we got here.
So you gotta hold out, okay? No matter what it takes. I'm counting on you, bud. That was enough to soothe Raphael's confused, empty heart.
He's relying on me?
My heart?
Even when I was wrong?
Raphael was constantly making mistakes, and Rimuru still trusted in him.
I am nothing more than a computational aid, but he still needs me.
Its anxiety was already gone. Regaining its usual confidence, the Lord of Wisdom responded.
Acknowledged. I understand. Moving on to the interception of the subject Velgrind.
It was true. Rimuru, the master Raphael loved so much, wasn't so small-minded that he'd get worked up over something as uncertain as probabilities. All I needed to do was relax, trust in him, and keep following along. By the way, Rimuru casually added, I've never really called you by a proper name before. There's Raphael, yeah, but that's a skill name. It really doesn't count. I think I'll take this opportunity to give you one right now.
Right,
Real noise.
really?
Oh yeah, we're here.
Middle of
We're here. It's the moment, baby.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
the moment.
Yep. Raphael found this incomprehensible. A strange feeling coursed through it. Bewilderment, joy, an outpouring of emotion. It couldn't hide its befuddlement at this uncalculable uncertainty that had sprouted inside of him.
What was he talking about?
It was confusing, but Raphael also understood his intention.
He cares about me. I was underperforming.
Rimuru must have been more devastated than anyone else when Veldora was taken, but even now, he could still be considerate of others. That's who Rimuru was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about Ciel? You've got knowledge
Ricky,
as
what's
wide as
wrong?
the open sky. So Ciel, get it? I don't know if you'll like it at first, but bear with me. Hell, if you have a problem with it, take it out on that red guy. Rimuru talked quickly as if trying to hide his embarrassment. Raphael, or Ciel, experienced a feeling of contentment no skill was supposed to feel.
I am now in eternal bliss.
It truly did have that thought, and with that thought, or with that, the moment of evolution arrived. At that moment, the ultimate skill, Raphael, Lord of Wisdom, was reborn as Manus Ciel.
I am Seal, a Manus, the theosophical core, merged with a skill. I exist alongside the soul of Sir Rimuru, providing support. It will be a pleasure to work with you. Oh yeah,
Now-
I dropped the voice for this. Seal is completely
perfect.
different. I'm dropping that voice. So welcome to
Now-
it, guys.
Yeah, hooray, we're here. Now, Ciel thought, there was nothing to fear. They were supposed to be in a major crisis right now, but nothing seemed dangerous any longer. Oh, great. Same here, I guess? The first time Seal heard Rimuru's voice, he was filled with a sense of euphoria. Okay, so go show off some of your power to them. And for Seal, in order for Rimuru was the greatest of rewards.
As you command, my lord.
Dude, the Lord of Wisdom.
Here's the thing. Show me what you can do. He did not know what he was stating. I can't wait. This gets fun.
This is going to be great.
Yay! Also, Rimuru does not realize that he accidentally just got himself out of a really bad situation that we won't even find out about until next book. It's neat seeing
crazy.
this with hindsight, so I encourage you to go back and reread 15 after we get done with 16, because there are like some
insane
there's
foresight.
like some little stuff sprinkled in here that you're like, oh shit, that was the moment what the fuck, that's so cool. Like, yeah, all right. There's just an extra level of hype when you reread this. That's all.
That is cool, though.
That's what makes 15 so fun.
The Lord of Wisdom had awakened into Seal, and in accordance with Rimuru's wishes, its power would bloom into ever sharper view. As ordered by Rimuru.
By the way, gentlemen, did you know that I, Seal, have been kissed by a rose on the gray? Ha! Said it before you could, Moon! Said it before you could, Moon! You knew you were gonna make the joke, and now I did it for you!
A kiss from a rose on the grave.
All right, there
Ooh, the more I get of you, a stranger.
Dude, you have done it. You have done it 2 weeks in a row. I finally usurped you.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah. No,
As ordered.
literally not a skill anymore. It's a Monas. It is a fully formed being now.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
Vision now.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
He was Ultron, now he's Vision. Whole different, completely
Jarvis
different,
is
Wild.
Vision.
completely different potato.
As ordered by Rimuru, Seal, formerly Raphael, took action to intercept Velgrin. Her burning breath was easily blocked by Uriel's absolute defense. It stunned the dragon into silence. She wasn't going easy on Rimuru at all. She had used Ragiel, Lord of Relief, to further enhance her breath, so no mere barrier could have ever blocked it. It had to exact a toll on her enemy, unless the enemy was so superior that he could see right through it from start to finish. Holy shit, yeah, it's crazy.
This is how crazy this just got.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Rimuru showed no sign of exhaustion. Not even the 3 demonesses could withstand a blow from Velgrin in dragon mode unscathed.
Maddie Ice
fact that
pointed out a
Rimuru-
good thing.
Huh.
Krona is also technically considered a Manas. So
Holy
the thing,
fuck.
The
So he has
thing
2
that
Monases
makes
on his side.
the thing that makes makes our little girl so powerful, that makes Chloe so effing powerful. That's what
Manas.
Seal just became. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's insane.
And he has 2 of them on his side.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And they both love
The fact... Yeah.
just in different ways.
Yes. The fact that Rimuru did so without batting an eyelid indicated that this was one demon lord you couldn't pussyfoot around with your attack. It was greatly displeasing. Pussyfooting.
I love that term,
Don't be a
pussyfooting.
pussy. Just
You
do
can't.
it.
You can't though. You
fine,
can't just play with them.
It's
yeah.
like tiptoeing, pussyfooting. It's like
Yeah.
pussyfooting comes from like how cats walk, very like,
Yeah, you
softly
can't.
and quietly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was greatly displeasing, but Velgrin continued to think calmly. She believed she had an edge in magical count. Perhaps the quality of her skills lost out to the his, or maybe the Demon Lord Rimuru had a built-in resistance to heat attacks. Instead of worrying about it further, she decided to take action, as she had done with Veldora. She created a set of partial separate bodies to launch 11 rays of light at once, her nuclear cannon attack. At the same time, the 11 rays also unleashed another round of burning breath. This multi-stage 22-part heat attack had enough temperature to easily vaporize an asteroid. If Rimuru survived this, then clearly heat didn't work on him. The results were a little hard for her to swallow.
that's
the heat
okay,
rays
baby. We'll
deployed...
teach you how later.
Yeah, absolutely. The heat rays, deployed at converging angles to prevent any escape, shot at Rimuru, but all of them were repelled by the shield of light he conjured. Damn it! He blocked it with absolute minimal movement! Like he calculated that to perfection! Velgrin was no longer enjoying this. Seeing Rimuru be impervious to heat enraged her, but even worse, that attack just now was all but a complete waste of time. If it had drained him of even a little, her vast advantage in magicals would have made her victory unassailable. But right now, Rimuru was consuming almost no energy at all. At this rate, Velgrin realized she could very well end up exhausting herself first. It was clearly time to get serious, but there was one more unpleasant act in the play. Rimuru had shot a glance at Velgrin at the start of all this, but after that, he didn't even bother to look at her. His focus was entirely on Veldora, and he was... Yeah, Jesus, she's not even a fucking number in the equation.
You're not even a fucking footnote right now.
Wow.
God.
When do I do the joke where Rimuru's like, "Hey, you gonna start fighting serious? Cause I'm bored."
You're boring me. What did you
Yeah,
say, you
that would
hapless
definitely
little
make
shit?
That would definitely make
said-
her really mad. Well,
I
even
said
more mad.
for Veldora's older sister, you're pretty boring.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, just
You're
a quick
pretty
question.
much a bitch.
Quick question. If I punch Ladora in the stomach, will he spit out another Veldora? Asking for a friend.
We like it.
But
Good.
my Bayteen!
I will get a hose.
That's okay.
Anyway.
His focus was entirely on Veldora, and he was paying his sister virtually no mind at all. Also, he wasn't using any shield against Veldora, evading all of his attacks instead. Only when evasion was impossible would he react with a similar attack of his own to cancel it out. But with Velgrin, that shield of light was all he needed to repel everything. Yes, he could use magic sense to keep tabs on all his surroundings, but he was still clearly ignoring her. It all but declared to Velgrin that he didn't even see her as a threat. That, more than anything else, triggered her rage. I'm gonna make him regret looking down on me! So that proud Velgrin decided to unleash the most powerful attack in her possession, with a hateful glance at Rimuru, who was still ignoring her. Sorry, it was trying to she
Her
dragon.
boobies dropped.
No, I get it.
She dragon.
Just
Dragon.
yeah,
Dragon these nuts!
Yeah, exactly.
Full dragon these nuts.
Alright.
Velgrin began conjuring up her mighty magic force, running it through her body. The support provided by Ragiel, combined with acceleration symbolized by her own heat, could be worked in parallel to forcibly heat her up. In other words, boost her performance. The results allowed Velgrin to go thousands of times faster than the speed of sound, the fastest physical speed of anything in the world. So what happens when the target of this power is someone other than herself? As a spiritual life form with resistance to physical attack, Velgrin has no problem withstanding this newfound performance. But could anyone else ever withstand it? The answer is no. No matter what kind of life form it is, no physical body can endure continuous forced acceleration. The same is true for spiritual ones. Even passing thoughts are converted into energy, ultimately leading to thermal collapse. That is exactly what this was designed for. Prepare to have your body rot away. Not a single piece of flesh left. Cardinal acceleration. It was her most powerful of techniques, eclipsing even burning embrace. Cardinal acceleration contained the full force and authority of Velgrin. She crafted it in secret for Velzard, in preparation for the final battle they must wage at some point in the future. She'd never normally wasted on a mere demon lord, but she was too enraged to let that stop her. With a roar from the Crimson Dragon, a wave of doom coursed towards Rimuru. This ultimate blow symbolized the pride of the Flame Dragon at her fastest, capable of making all matter collapse in an instant. It could bury any enemy at a speed that made it impossible for anyone to avoid. By the time Rimuru, busily focusing on Veldora, realized what was going on, it would be too late. His mind wouldn't work fast enough to comprehend what just occurred before he ceased to exist in this world. I wish I could make him regret underestimating me, but he won't have the time for that now, will he? That's the only regret I have! With this absolute confidence, Velgrin peered ahead to see how it worked out. Instead, she goggled at the sight of Rimuru standing there, unharmed. No, it can't be. She doubted her own eyes.
By the way, she's thinking this, so she doesn't have to sound like a dragon.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. She doubted her own eyes. There was absolutely no way that anyone could withstand an impossible to avoid, utterly lethal blow like that without a scratch. Even the Demon Lord Guy Crimson himself, even her sister Velzard the Ice Dragon, could have been taken down by it, or at least Velgrin thought so. You're unharmed? That's impossible! My cardinal acceleration works against every type of barrier and defensive skill. If you took it that easily, what did you even do? Velgrin was clearly losing her cool. If he had canceled out the attack somehow, that was one thing, but no barrier could ever hope to, or could have ever deflected it. The reality of it all was too much to grapple with. It gravely affected her composure. Huh, Rimuru replied. Well, it was a close call, yeah, but given the impulsiveness of it, it was pretty easy to eat up, you know. This was, in fact, entirely the work of Seal, who was still dedicated to handling Velgrin. It worked out exactly as calculated. Rimuru's assistant was attempting to make Velgrin attack him. Seal put Rimuru before everything else, doing as it ordered or without getting in his way, and that was enough to shut Velgrin down. It ran analyze and assess on the dragon's nature, selected an effective response, and put it into action. One example of this was a shield of light Rimuru had been using, which had a special effect on Velgrin's powers. Seal, the sum of all its integrated skills, had all of Rimuru's ultimate skills under its control. One of those ultimates was Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony, excuse me. Seal had just used its predation skill, gaining an immediate grasp of Valgren's cardinal acceleration, and the isolate skill to capture and banish the attack into complex space, an evolved version of Rimuru's stomach. Holy
See?
shit!
That is crazy.
That's wild.
And
Okay.
here's the thing.
His stomach evolved?
Please understand something
The
else.
black hole.
Please understand something else. As his Manus, Seal
That's
is now
wild.
connected to Food Chain 2. So
This is
Seal
wild.
now has access to everyone Rimuru has named and can start tinkering with their shit.
So
Like,
insert
what
the
is light
Smash
to a black
Ultra thing
hole?
here.
That's what this is.
Yeah, what is
Oh my
God
God.
to a non-believer, you know?
Yeah.
I
That
just
attack was
imagine it-
certainly...
I just imagine the idea is like at one point Veldonavas or I forgot
Velgrind.
name. Velgrind,
Velgrind.
thank you. It's like, why has nothing happened to you?
Nom
And
nom.
Rimuru was like, ma'am, I will fight you in a minute.
In a minute! Yeah.
I am trying
One
to
punch.
save my friend. I will fight
After
you
after
in a
he
minute.
absorbs Veldora, he's like, ma'am, bang.
Yeah.
I just like this.
Fight you in a minute.
I just like this whole thing of like, you wait right there. I will deal with you in
Ma'am.
a moment.
Calm your titanic
true
molten
dragon.
titties.
Yeah.
I will
You're a
be with you in a
bitch,
moment.
is what you are.
Oh man.
I mean, it
So
Like,
works.
weird.
Rimuru
a
just
rock-
drops down.
Yeah.
I'm fond of you. You're fond of me. Let's fondle.
That attack was certainly capable of destroying Rimuru. It couldn't be defended against with normal methods, and even Raphael's computational power wouldn't have been able to deal with it. But Seal wasn't Raphael. No longer a mere skill, had evolved into a presence on a different dimension from the Lord of Wisdom. And no matter
see
how the
here.
enemy may attack...
You are no longer dealing with the average over.
Stop.
above
We gotta
average
keep going.
AI here.
We have to
Oh
keep
no, are
going.
we doing this again?
Yeah.
And no matter how the enemy may attack, as long as Seal could determine the nature of the attack, it was not a problem. Something it just, proved in the way it wielded Beelzebub. Once Isolate was invoked, all that remained was to absorb the energy in complex space. When used like this, the complex space ability of Beelzebub was transformed into a defensive measure as stout as absolute defense from Uriel, Lord of Vows.
Yeah,
Valgren's
so
surprise was
Hinata doesn't
understandable.
stand a fucking chance anymore.
She'd be fucking obliterated.
Yeah.
Not even a thought.
It's like, oh, wow, that's a disintegration. That was really yummy. It tasted like, why does disintegration taste like tapioca pudding?
That's wild.
Right.
It's like a 7 out of 10, I guess, in terms of the
Yeah.
taste scale.
Kind of mid, honestly.
Rimuru's on the battlefield. This just became an Arby's.
All you can eat Arby's.
We have the
Excuse me,
meats.
sir. This is a
Yeah.
Wendy's.
No.
We
this
have
is
the
an Arby's.
dragons.
We have the meats.
Yeah. Valgren's surprise was
The
understandable.
bacon was the other battlefield. When they stepped into Rimuru's territory, that was a Wendy's. He's stepping onto
Yeah.
someone else's. It's an Arby's now.
Slightly bigger. Valgren's surprise was understandable. After all, everything had ended before Rimuru himself had a chance to so much as think, "Oh crap, I'm in trouble." Still, Rimuru responded defiantly to Valgren's shock. He didn't want her to realize it was pretty much nothing he himself did. But Seal's scheme didn't end there. Able to communicate with Rimuru more smoothly than ever before, it could even use the art of conversation as a weapon to pursue Valgrind with. But speaking of Valgrind, you have to be kidding me! You consumed it? You simply ate up cardinal acceleration? My greatest ability? She couldn't comprehend what Rimuru meant. It was still the middle of battle, but she was too stunned to move, and even though it was just for a moment, it was a fatal error. Hold on.
This is Rimuru.
So I'm sorry to bother you while you're still shocked that your amazing attack was a dud, but you didn't forget that we're in a fight here, right? It was already too late by the time he asked. Seal was unerring in its actions. Rimuru gave it its full backing, or his full backing.
Calculation of Velgrin's magicule count complete. After accounting for the subject's nature and characteristics, I determined it's possible to encase the target in an insulated insulated imprisonment for several hundred seconds. Activating.
Before Valgrind realized it, a layered magic circle had surrounded her. This was a compound skill, combining the ultimate skill Uriel's unlimited imprisonment with spatial insulation. Seal had crafted it just now, exclusively for use against Valgrind, and now she was caught in it.
He just Pokeball. Just bam.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like a master ball at this point because it's true.
Yeah,
Dragon.
basically.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
The combat
there's
airspace.
no waiting. It's just it's caught.
Yeah, there's no way. The combat airspace had been fully computed by SEAL. The temperature, humidity, gravity, wind currents, sunlight, the pulses of every living thing within it. It was all in the palm of SEAL's hand. And no matter what Velgrin did, it'd be impossible for her to leave this airspace. Fuck.
Yeah.
The blinding light of this insulated imprisonment declared by SEAL made Velgrin feel dizzy. How? How could it be so easy for him? The dragon's crimson body trembled and
Hold on.
trembled in humiliation.
Keep going. Yeah.
Okay. The dragon's crimson body trembled in humiliation at having been beaten, and no matter what she tried, the insulated imprisonment never so much as wavered. Okay, sit tight in there for a while, okay? I'll play with you after I free Veldora. The words
Play
placed.
with you?
Yeah. That's I hope that was the perfect tone for that. It sounded like you're like, whatever. All right. We did it. The words placed a final exclamation mark on Velgrin's defeat. All right. I'll admit defeat this time, but I still have parallel existence.
Wait.
And whether this is insulated imprisonment or not, I can just trace a soul corridor out of here. Velgrin did have one more move she could make. It'd mean giving up her current body, but the majority of her remaining energy would be channeled back into the replication position next to Ludora as insurance. It was brutally humiliating, but it wasn't the end for her yet. Slowly, cautiously, she got to work, making sure Rimuru didn't take notice. Little by little, she began transferring magicals through her soul corridor, without realizing that was exactly what Seal wanted.
God damn! All right, here we go.
Gotta hand it to Raphael.
You activated my
Seal,
trap
I mean.
card.
Yep.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
It seemed kind of down in the dumps. Sorry, what? Yeah.
Oh no! Wait for what Seal does with this. This is beautiful.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of down in the dumps to me, so I gave it a name on a whim. And I guess it was happier about it than I thought it'd be. After all, its previous machine-like reactions to me were much smoother and more human-like. I feel like it had been improved by, a lot. It was in such great shape now. I wonder what happened to it just beforehand. It had gone into auto-battle mode on me several times in the past, but now it was activating skills and doing all kinds of crap. The scale of it all was totally different. Even Velgrin, who seemed so overwhelming to me, was no match for it. His suggestion to have her activate her finisher skill, then wait for a magical count to dwindle right afterward, was a perfect strategy. The combination of my abilities and the way she responded to certain things was what made it work, which makes it sound easy, but I have no idea how much computing power it'd take to make this possible. We were hopefully outclassed in a single or magical count after all, so if we wanted to cage up the superior opponent, we needed insulated imprisonment built efficiently and with only the elements I enjoyed an advantage in. Call it a calculated prison I created with my partner. That's what it took for Seal to score a complete victory. The crux of this operation lay upon whether or not I could withstand Velgrin's attack. Seal's computation said I could, and I trusted on that, but if she misread that, it'd be the enemy. Or it'd be the enemy too. Why did I trust it? Simple. I was dealing with Veldora, and I told Seal he was in charge of Velgrin. I knew it could do it too, and it lived up to my expectations perfectly, even better than I imagined. Seal used my abilities more skillfully than I could to fulfill the job. That's my partner for you. Now I was more impressed with Seal than ever. So thanks to an unexpected boon, Seal was now more dependable than ever for me. But I couldn't forget my objective. Before Velgrin made another move, I needed to free Veldora's mind. So how many seconds can we hold her back exactly?
Even if Velgrin went on a violent rampage, the insulated imprisonment will hold for a total of 200 more seconds. I don't think we need to worry about that, however.
Why not? Even 3 minutes and change were something to be grateful for, but Velgrin's still a major threat. I can't just ignore that whole time.
No, as predicted, Velgrin is currently trying to escape. I knew she could use a soul corridor to transfer energy away from her, so I considered the possibility that she'd flee without worrying too much about this replication before us.
I see? Or I think I do. If any replication could be made into a real body, there was no major need for her to force her way out of this insulated imprisonment? Or maybe there was, and that was why Seal created a loophole for Velgrin to try and exploit. That's right. Velgrin showed her hand too much, banning around parallel existence and not hesitating to use it against the 3 demonesses of Eldora. I had been monitoring all that, so there was no shortage of material for Seal to analyze. Velgrin's parallel existence couldn't produce an inexhaustible supply of clones. Seal must have measured her magical count to the point that it knew the exact or the maximum amount she could hold. And once we knew that, we'd understand how many more replications we needed to churn through before she was defeated. Seal, meanwhile, worked backward from there. It saw that Velgrin probably had an insurance policy on hand, and so it baited her into escaping into it. I'd probably do the same thing if I had a power that useful, but my replications didn't have access to ultimate skills. A little annoying, but I was willing to admit defeat there. In the end, the seemingly omnipotent parallel existence could only really be used either as a decoy or against a weaker opponent. I mean, it's still extremely useful insurance and a nice asset to have depending on the opponent. I can think of a few fun ways to use it, but it just didn't seem effective against someone of equal or higher rank. But Seal was the one who exposed that weakness for all the world to see. Like, I'm actually kind of scared of its computing ability. Everything was going exactly as Seal wanted. I mean, yeah, like it was predicting the future. The progress it's made is kind of exasperating, but either way, Seal's my partner. Best to stop worrying about extraneous stuff and get on with the objective at hand. Seal had conquered Belgren, strongest of the true dragons, and I sure wasn't going to fall behind. Alright, but just in case, I'm going to put all my power up against Veldora right now, so I can be assured to wrap up in under 200 seconds. Give me a hand, Seal.
As you wish.
Seal and I guess, squared up against Veldora, our primary mission. Seal had earned me some precious time. Not a lot, maybe, but for us, it may as well have been infinite. I'd never live it down if we didn't make the most of it. Could we do it? That wasn't the question. We were doing it. That was the determination in my mind. As I resumed my attack on Veldora. Release Veldora, then defeat then defeat Ludora. Those were my objectives, and it's what I wanted to do, not just because Guy asked me to. Seal's birth had surprised me so much that without anticipating it, I was back to my normal state of mind. My serenity had long since returned to me, but that didn't mean my anger was gone. That anger, I decided, I'd save until I could take it out on Emperor Ludora. First things first. It's how I approached Veldora. Well, to start out, I was trying to talk to him. Talking about ruling over Veldora was easy enough, but we were dealing with a true dragon with gigantic amounts of energy. It must take an incredible effort. Taking over the will of a spiritual life form is one of the most difficult tasks I can think of. In fact, as I saw it, there were several types of subjugation like this. One was charm-based. You made the subject follow your will, heart and soul. Another was coercion-based, taking away their free will and forcing them to obey. A third was total domination, where the target wasn't even aware they were being subjugated. The list went on and on. Yuki carried out total domination on his subjects, but in Kagali's case, it was more coercion-based, and that was what Veldora was dealing with too. This coercion could work on several levels as well. The target might retain their free will, but still be reluctantly forced to follow orders. Or they may have their free will removed entirely, turning them into an unquestioning robot. It didn't seem to me like Kagali had any free will left right now, but what about Veldora? Spiritual life forms that all had incredibly strong wills, something that I didn't think could be erased so easily, so I decided it'd be worthwhile to try calling out to him. But Veldora's resistance was just too fierce. I assumed his orders were to eliminate the enemy, i.e. me, but he was just vicious, throwing all restraint out the window. Even with Seal handling Belgren for me, Veldora alone was nonetheless proving a tough match. I still had my assorted storm-type skills on hands, but it was possible to cancel out his moves. But with the off-the-charts power he boasted, just doing that kept my hands full. We weren't really in a conversational mood, in other words. That was where we were at when I decided to let Seal defend for me. The control probability thing was tricky, but I trusted that Seal had a handle on it. Now the real work begins, I thought, as I tried to get closer to Veldora. Gales of wind were flying around me, but my location was as calm as the eye of a hurricane. It was really relieving. Everything from Veldora was being offset, and Seal wasn't even as frantic as I was a moment ago. It barely even touched my magicals, and best of all, I was in incredibly good shape.
Of course, the demons serving you have been sending you food chain-based support through their soul corridors. It's like,
they're holding their hands up, giving him food.
No, literally. Think about it like, kind of like charging
auxiliary
a spirit bomb.
Battery.
Like,
yeah, that's what it is.
And they're giving him power equal to Veldora right now.
That's
and they're
amazing.
not even while fighting, and they're not even trying. It's just
that's amazing.
Literally, Seal is backdoor feeding him the energy equivalent
auxiliary power
of something like that.
That's fucking amazing.
So basically, he was running on infinite battery power, and when he named Seal, he got access to infinite solar.
That's fucking amazing.
Just a giant amount of solar. He's like, yeah, you know where my solar panels are? About like 50,000 kilometers from the sun. You'd think they'd melt,
fucking
but no.
Christ.
Like,
nope.
We're never running out.
The quality we have.
No. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and they're high grade panels. They bring in the juice. You know, it's that kind of a thing.
That juice. Mm-hmm. Oh, was that it? It felt like I was getting stronger, but thanks to my other allies, I was holding my own against Veldora. Once I was aware of that, there was no way I could fail. After finally reaching a spot right in front of Veldora, I took the opportunity to call out to him. Sorry to keep you, Veldora. Do you recognize me? No reply. Well, he did let out a thunderstorm roar, but other than that, nothing. I lashed out at him with my first unconsciously irritated. I'm
assuming fist.
Yeah, it was probably fist. But as anyone could have expected, it didn't stop him. The attack would have needed an element of magic force, not just physical, or else it would never damage him much. but that was okay by me. My goal was to wake Veldora up, not kill him. For now, I'd just give him a good beating instead. So I continued to hit Veldora in the face as hard as I could. I was actually too close range for much of his attack repertoire to work. A lot of spells and skills would wind up hitting him as well. Being controlled like this, he might keep whipping them out anyway without a care, but I figured Seal would take care of that. A punch, another punch, and a kick, but Veldora only roared in response.
What do you think about using predation on Veldora and locking him in your complex space?
A rather frightening suggestion from Seal, I thought. If that was a yes or no question, I was kind of leaning towards yes, but was something like that possible?
Not a problem. Beelzebub is under my command, so if I receive the order, I can immediately put it into action.
It's certainly dependable, I guess. It was funny to think that Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony, this all-powerful ultimate skill, got its start way back with Predation, a species-specific slime skill. Thanks to that, it couldn't have been better geared towards me. Handling it was always such a breeze. Now that Seal had further optimized it, I figured it'd work on Veldora as well. Now that I was a Demon Lord Slime, or Demon Slime, if you will, Beelzebub could be invoked from any part of my body. In fact, I didn't even need to make a physical contact with my target any longer. It took on more power the closer I was to the other party, though, so now that I was in point-blank range of Veldora, I expected serious performance. Anyway, my mind was made up. Thanks for causing me all this damn trouble, Veldora. Quit making me worry about you all the damn time. Or all the time, excuse me. As soon as I shouted it, I immediately tried devouring Veldora via Beelzebub, but then... Just a little mistake on my part. Forgive me. I heard a voice in my head I really shouldn't have been hearing. Veldora, right? Indeed, it is I, Veldora the Storm Dragon, your erstwhile ally. It couldn't have been a trap. He was acting like too much of a fool for it to be. That carefree voice, not a thought in his mind. It couldn't have been anyone else. Hey, so, you're conscious? Yes. Actually, I detached my core as quickly as I could. I cannot physically speak, but I still have my wits about me. Aha, so he's there. Or so he's there, all right. If Beelzebub was working its way through his body, did that make telepathic communication through his heart possible? Either way, I was glad he was safe, but now I was angry for other reasons. So what are you waiting for, then? Regain control of your body! All that worry, and he was treating this like a day at the beach. Do you have any idea how much I was freaking out? I felt justified in complaining a bit about it. I would have done that long ago if I could. But listen to me, Rimuru. Don't you think you should calm down a bit and be a bit more careful? Like I needed him telling me otherwise, or like I needed him telling me. Besides, shut up. If I was going to be calm about this, I wouldn't have done something as crazy as take on 2 dragons at once, or 2 true dragons at once. I didn't need anyone to point that out to me. Excuse me. Now that I was calmer, I was actually kind of impressed that I survived, but I couldn't have been too cautious back there. Nothing about dealing with true dragons was careful in the first place. But as I was thinking about this, Veldora was still cheerfully giving me advice. Oh, watch out for this. I'm about to bring out some dark lightning. Stop providing color commentary like a sports broadcast. Oh, watch out for my fist. Oh, watch out. Oh,
I have a mean right hook there. You better want to dodge that one.
What a weird thing.
Yeah.
Even worse, he didn't launch Dark Lightning at all. It was Death Calling Wind instead. Seal canceled it out for me, and I'm pretty sure I could have dodged it anyway. Why the hell was he giving me fake advice? You call that lightning? That was Death Calling Wind. It was about to kill me. My complaints were met with a half-chuckled excuse. Oh, sorry. It seems I've yet to gain a full grasp on my body. I can sense myself activating a skill well enough, but I can only identify it right about half the time. So he wasn't being helpful then. My enemy had control probability too, which meant it was likely safer just to ignore Veldora's predictions. Alright, you don't need to do that, so can you just shut up for me? It wouldn't be very funny if I trusted random nonsense from you at this critical moment and it killed me, would it? I'm really disappointed in you. This made Veldora start panicking a bit. Wait, Rimuru, wait. I'm doing my best here. Let me help you a little. He was desperately arguing his case, but there wasn't much to back up his claims. I had to put reason first here, not emotion. Besides, I already had his cooperation. Just hearing Veldora's voice did a lot to ease my concerns. Well, I'm just happy you're all right, Veldora responded with his usual energetic laugh. Of course I am. I'm the strongest of all dragons. Right, that was a relief. But then, besides, it wasn't Ludora who cut off our soul corridor, but I myself. I have never truly lost in battle at all. Huh? What's this dude talking about? What do you mean? Oh, it's simple. When I was busy focusing on that man Kondo's attack, Ludora tried to assert control over me. I was furious about this, the 3 of them tackling me at once. My sister included? How truly unfair. But I wanted to avoid the worst case scenario, so I reluctantly made the decision to cut the corridor away. Sounds to me, Mr. Strong Dragon, that you were being a little careless there, weren't you? There's no such thing as fair or unfair on the battlefield. Stop acting like it was so noble of you. What the hell were you even doing? I've been constantly telling you never to let your guard down. I never thought you'd be lecturing me under these circumstances. Veldora seemed to be enjoying this to no end. It was appalling. Appalling and pointless to tolerate any further, so I moved on. So the decision you made was to shut down our soul corridor? Indeed. I reasoned that Ludora's domination would have affected not only me, but you as well through the corridor, so I hurriedly turned it off to protect me? Well, if that's the story he gave me, I really couldn't be mad at him any longer. Alright. Great. Well, in that case, sit tight while I take care of this. Very well. I have not a worry in the world. Nice to be relied on like that. Right. I'll be free in a moment, so hold out a bit. How wonderful to hear. I will trust in that, my friend. So I knew what happened to Veldora. He had lost control over his own body, but his core was still intact. He didn't have the power to regain control at the moment, though, so I'd have some source to sort that out for him. I didn't expect problems. If this core was all right, I could figure the rest out. Here was one idea. Seal, if we have Veldora's core in hand, will we be able to revive his ultimate ability, Veldora, Lord of the Storm?
Not a problem. All information related to the skill has been retained, so once a soul corridor is connected to Veldora's core, the ultimate ability can be restored.
Well, that was easy. In short, all I had to do was consume Veldora in front of me and retrieve his core. Now I just had to make my move. Piece of cake. That seems familiar.
Just wow, yada yada, no piggy.
Just have to eat him. Yeah, no problem.
Nom nom. It's Kirby time, baby.
Yum, 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 yum. Okay, time to defeat this foe, Veldora the Storm Dragon, the strongest in land, and so on. We now had a clear path towards solving this problem, so I decided to get this over with fast. There were still two problems in play, my time limit and the location of his core. In terms of time, I still had a lot of that. We had been using haste and thought to minimize the time spent on that last conversation, so only a few seconds of real time had passed. Even with the attacking and defending that took place in between, I still had over 3 minutes to work with.
Yeah,
the problem
literally,
was the core
this
location.
whole conversation happened while he's still fighting Veldora's body.
That's fucking funny.
That's
like a couple
hilarious.
seconds.
It was inside his body, close enough that I could communicate it with via telepathy, but pinpointing its exact coordinates was actually pretty tricky. Should I accidentally destroy it in the process, all would be lost. This mission would be a failure, and Veldora would go through the reincarnation process. Normally, you'd never have to worry about this.
Also, the reason that Rimuru stands a chance right now is because nobody understands how to use Veldora properly. If they were properly using Veldora, he would have started immediately pulling off Street Fighter moves, and it would have been over.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Hadouken! Hadouken! Hadouken!
They're just putting AI in him. They just let him freely use his AI and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not taking control. The core of the creature is the most heavily protected part of it, but in Veldora's case, his core was detached from his main body, leaving it fairly defenseless. A careless strike in the wrong place could wind up landing a direct hit, which would be beyond unfortunate. It'd free him from Ludora's control, I'm sure, but it'd also wipe out Veldora's current personality, and it wouldn't restore our soul corridor either. That had to be avoided at all costs. If I could devour Veldora all at once, I wouldn't need to worry about any of this. Sadly, though, swallowing him whole wasn't possible, even with my complex space, not without his consent. I could try weakening him and cutting down his magical count a bit.
Consent is key.
It is true.
Yeah.
Or I could try some more predation on him, being careful not to damage the core along the way. Now that I thought about it more, actively damaging Veldora's body seemed like a non-starter. Maybe clocking him on the head a few times like I did before was kind of scarily dangerous. I came in thinking it'd be hard to damage him, much less defeat him, and now he seemed like this fragile figurine to me. Of course, a bolt or two of magic wouldn't even scratch him, and a random punch or kick would achieve little as well. Only when you add the effects of an ultimate skill to these attacks does the damage become more substantial. Even disintegration, the most powerful holy magic, could only do a little bit of damage against Veldora's gigantic frame. The durability of these true dragons was no joke. It's what made them true dragons. So yeah, I think some attacking is safe enough, but you never know what will happen if you hit someone in the wrong place. That was doubly true now that Veldora didn't have control over his own body. There's no telling what he would do. Thus, until I knew the location of Veldora's core, it was safest not to launch any attacks. That meant I just had one way forward. I needed to put my nose to the grindstone, use predation to eat him away bit by bit, and hope I find the core along the way. Be a race against time, but I had no other option. Just 3 minutes, but then again, 3 minutes could be all the time in the world for me. Filing the time issue back in the back of my mind, I turned Beelzebub up to full power and began eating my way into Veldora. My body reverted from human to slime form, not my usual bouncy liquid form, but a kind of viscous, irregularly shaped blob. This was Seal optimizing my shape in accordance with the hostile predation I was engaged in. The more contact surface I had with my target, the more efficient this process was. So my constantly shifting body ate into the surface of Veldora's body, spreading itself around him, but the target was just too big. No matter how far I stretched myself out, I was really just a dot from Veldora's point of view. It was a daunting task, but I couldn't give up now. Throwing all caution to the wind, I accelerated my hostile consumption, activating Soul Consumed as I searched for his core. This, too, would have been impossible without Seal's assistance. Looking at that incredible strength it exhibited earlier, I was starting to think it had computational power on a scale far beyond what Raphael had.
Oh yeah.
Guess not only monsters evolve when you name them. Yeah. Thanks to Seal, things were overall going pretty smoothly right now, but we weren't entirely free of obstacles. To be exact, I was in intense pain. Veldora's body had detected what I was up to, and it was resisting me at all costs. The Storm Dragon's aura was causing my body to disintegrate. I was trying to consume it while it was trying to squash me or to quash me. The battle was only just beginning. Pain, heat, and suffering. I wasn't supposed to be able to feel pain, but it was now coursing across my entire body. Heat shouldn't have meant anything to me, but it felt like somebody was dunking me in unbearably hot water. And then the agonizing suffering, something I had never even felt before in this world. The dangerous sensation of having my existence wiped out shortly triggered all of my survival instincts, but I wasn't going to relent. I was going to win. I would overcome this agony and save Veldora, and I wasn't alone now. In Seal, I had a more reliable partner than ever before. That's why I was so determined to devour the Storm Dragon and absorb Veldora's core. I could achieve that. This much pain was never going to stop me. Everything all right, Seal?
Leave it to me. All right, guys, here
We're
it
good,
is.
then.
This is the part to pay attention to.
With Seal's trustworthy reply in hand, I expanded my predation. One thing standing in my way was all the energy I was feeding on. Normally it'd be converted into power for me, but against a true dragon, it didn't work that way. Instead of becoming my power, it was destroying my body from the inside. I suppose dragons are so powerful down to the individual cell level that nothing can ever bind them down. Somehow, this dragon got taken over by the enemy anyway, but no point whining about that now. Whenever a part of my body is lost, infinite regeneration kicks in to rebuild and replace it. That was one way I could forcibly take in the energy I was consuming. It'd be a lot easier if I could just throw it away, but that wasn't going to happen. I had to analyze and assess all this energy first, or else I might wind up damaging Veldora's core. It was a really tedious process, but it was still the best way. Such was my decision after conferring with Seal. Now it was up to me to just keep going with it. I put my mind on cruise control as I kept up my work. The clock was ticking, but I was dealing with a huge target. I began worrying that we might not make it, but I still had faith in Seal. We were guaranteed to make it in time.
I had some free time, so I performed some analysis work. Would you like to hear about it? Seal had free time during this shit. Let that sink in. This crazy event. This crazy event where they're like...
Part of that was from me, too.
On a balancing act. On a balancing act back and forth of like, is Rimuru gonna die? Or is he gonna be able to consume a true dragon? What's gonna happen? By the way, I had free time, you know?
That's fine.
Filing their nails like, by the way.
By the way.
What do you mean you had some free time? I'm kind of in horrifying pain right now. What are you even up to?
You know what? I just realized I should put on a voice for this, but not the same one. All right, so I was performing analyze and assess process on Velgrin's powers, examining her cardinal acceleration while she was isolated in complex space.
No, that was a rhetorical question. Sorry.
Wait, what?
That was a good voice.
Make it so, number one.
No, not that. No,
more Jarvis.
No.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
No, that was a rhetorical question. Wait, you figured it out?
I failed to reproduce the power, but it's possible to develop a very similar technique.
You're crazy, Seal. Maybe I should just assume that it's reading my surface consciousness at all times. Better be more aware of my mental barriers, I guess. I'll have to think matters through on a deeper level than before. Still, though, getting to imitate Velgrin's most powerful move, as Seal breathlessly claimed, would be pretty cool. That, despite the fact you can't copy ultimate skills just by observing them. Wait a minute. What else was it analyzing? I decided to ask it directly, despite my trepidation. What else have you been analyzing? Seal eagerly spoke up as if he'd been waiting for the question.
Right! I've also eagerly analyzed Storm Blast by taking advantage of the remainders from the skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm. This skill is now available for use.
Wait! This is major news! I practically didn't even feel the pain any longer. That sounded like such an incredibly difficult analysis to make. I was unsure if I could believe it at first. It acted like this was just, it was, what? I was unsure if I could believe it at first. It acted like this was just some side project.
No, it's true. And that's not even the important part. Here's the main thing.
I couldn't help but have that reaction to my surface consciousness, but whatever. No point hiding stuff from it anyway.
Why do I feel like Seal is just floating in space with a cup of tea going,
yeah, Seal is
just... You have no idea.
They're talking as if, they're talking about, the neighborhood, like
just a neighborhood
gossip.
Dog or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It was convincing enough, though. I still had the ultimate skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm, in me. Taking advantage of that, I could see how I could reproduce Storm Blast well enough. That's a pretty damn powerful skill, so it'd be nice if I could grab it for myself. I was happy for that. And despite my initial surprise, I suppose performing that kind of work wasn't too unusual by SEAL standards. At this point, I was more curious about what SEAL thought the main thing was. So what is that?
All right, this is going to be our last thing that we're going through before we hit the big dot, which is funny because we're now approaching the point where we're almost 10 pages away from the end of the chapter.
Wow.
You
lot.
have ate through some shit, dude. All right.
Eating,
I've
just like him.
completed analysis of the storm dragon you have been predating. This will make it possible to transform your body composition into the same type as a true dragon. Would you like me to carry this out?
Pardon? That's
What?
a pretty casual way of saying something very disturbing, isn't it? Transforming my bodily composition in the same type as Veldora? And you're asking if I want to carry this out like it's a quick little errand? No, I'm a little confused. If I'm understanding this correctly, does this mean I would become a true dragon?
That is the correct way to see it, yes.
What? It's the correct way? Like, are you serious?
Of course. Would
It's
you like
not
to
that
evolve
big
into a true dragon? Yes, no.
I unconsciously executed a 3-part progression of evil laughter. Oh, that was evil. I unconsciously executed a 3-part progression of evil laughter. Still giving me yes or no ultimatums, huh? I thoughtlessly noted as I gave the command. Yes!
Yes!
Instantly.
It's like,
Yes!
God damn it!
Now
Fuck
cue
yes!
the Pokemon
Yes!
evolution theme.
Yeah.
Well, all right, here we go.
Instantly, the pain I felt vanished. No pain, no burning, no agony. The Storm Dragon's aura no longer penetrated me because
Giggity.
I had a draconic aura of my own. Now, the more energy consumed, the more I stored for myself. My magical count shot ever higher. I was afraid to expand to the point where I'd go out of control and explode on me.
I love that
You're just-
comment. Forget seeing, this is making chemistry. It's like, yeah.
It's true though.
He explodes, just
Yeah,
God,
all right.
slime everywhere.
Oh, there's slime everywhere. Giggity.
Ah,
All right, let's keep going.
I think, yeah, this is Seal.
Okay, hang on one sec. I'm checking a thing. Yeah, 176 is the page this chapter ends on. Would you like to know what page we're on right now?
Like
What?
170.
No, we're at 149.
Oh my god, okay.
Yeah, we're actually pretty close to the end. We could finish this up
Damn.
tonight, or we could just have like just a couple pages for next week. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I
pretty
think-
much as is.
I think it might be better if we just finish up the chapter though, because we're literally so close to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will try. All
right. Instantly.
It is getting
right?
late, but I will try,
Where are we
yeah.
at? Where are we at?
We're at not a problem.
Not a problem. I will provide perfect energy management.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. With Seal, there was no need to worry. Now my true dragon self had an identical number of magicals as Veldora. Then I broke through the limit. With this, a new true dragon was born. And the moment I started being distracted from my current situation, I realized that any further delay in dealing with the storm dragon would be fatal. You have won, Rimuru. Or, you have won, Rimuru. I'm rather surprised to see you become a true dragon, but it seems my eyes never deceived me after all. Quah! Ha 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 ha! Veldora, on the other hand, didn't seem too surprised as he rejoiced for me. He was acting like he'd raised me from a baby or something. But it goes without saying that his contribution to this was next to nothing.
I mean,
Besides-
technically,
I mean, yeah.
he
I
was
mean,
there. He was the first. He was the very first
was
thing
your
that
first
Rimuru
friend.
encountered. He was the first
Yeah.
being Rimuru encountered. Yeah.
Yeah. Besides, it was too early to be declaring victory. Veldora's core was the key to all this.
Yeah, Veldora just gained a little brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yay! I mean, it wasn't already. I mean, yeah.
And I still, well,
no,
yeah.
no, because he wasn't a true dragon. He was a friend,
Yeah.
an ally, a
Yeah.
buddy,
Yeah. Buddy. Pal.
brother
a
in arms, if
a
you will.
sword
Tomodachi.
friend, according to the
Yeah.
Crunchyroll freaking bad translation. Sword
Yeah.
friend. They cross
Sword
swords
friend.
together. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Interesting. Veldora's core was key to all this, and I still didn't know where it was. Time to put the icing on this cake then. Right, let's get this over with. How dare some puppet like this call itself the Storm Dragon? How dare they? Consume it all! Beelzebub! At my order, Beelzebub devoured the Storm Dragon's body, with glee, I might add, not to mention tremendous speed. Now things were incredibly one-sided in this conflict, the one who eats and the one who's eaten, the very embodiment of survival of the fittest. The curtain quietly fell on this epic battle. During it, we witnessed an evolution, a new birth, and a bold step into the future. The remnants of the energy that leaked away from me filled the area with blinding light, the light of blessing, a light celebrating the birth of a new truth. This was a light that my old body, the one that hadn't transformed into a true dragon, emitted as it was converted into pure energy, and even it would be consumed by me as it faded from the world. With that, my goal was achieved in truly perfect form.
Okay, I want to take a pause here for a moment, just to take in this moment from like the enemy's perspective. They had this on lock. 2 true dragons facing off against a demon lord. We got this. We still got to be cautious, but we got this, right? And then suddenly one true dragon disappears. And then the other true dragon gets eaten. And then a blinding flash of light, and then suddenly there's Rimuru just standing there, even more impressive, a little bit older actually in physical appearance, and way more powerful.
He did it.
And here's the thing, that's just for the rank and filers. The people who actually can sense what's really going on, they have to be like, what the fuck? You know?
Guy, I'm no longer your pawn.
Guy, you're not my pawn. I'm not your pawn. You're mine.
Jesus Christ. Anyway,
I'll be by to see. I'll be by to see my.
I came out of your game.
I'll be on my way to see my new older sister real soon.
Real soon.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
Yeah. Get out of there, guys.
When the light subsided.
I told you, it keeps going up. It's exponential. They fucked around. Now they're finding out.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we
it's
have
a lot.
We have Eldor in front of you. Oh,
there's literally this whole arc of the Empire fucking around and finding out is 3 books long. It's great. All right, sorry.
What?
Dragon snacks.
Okay.
Nom 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 nom.
When the light subsided, there was only one life form left, an indeterminate one. Veldora was gone, and now, as Velgren realized, the slime, the demon lord Rimuru, had consumed it. According to what they knew, Rimuru was born from a pool of magicules that had leaked out from the sealed Veldora, but now that slime had consumed the storm dragon, its father in a way, and became the 5th true dragon of the world. This slime, the ultimate slime, took on the form of a human being after a few moments, a blade in one hand and wearing no clothing. He was between the age of 15 and 16, maybe about 5 foot 3 inches. Small, it was fair to say. But the amount of magicules contained within him was not only comparable to Veldora's, it far outclassed him. Those golden eyes, a beautiful almond shape, looked capable of seeing through everything. That hair, silver with a blue tinge, shone white like the moon. He was androgynous, and his face was more touchingly sweet than ravishing, but his divine presence made him transcend beauty itself. Now that pale skin was enveloped in an evil aura, black and gold, he whispered something, an expression of frustration, and the demonic energy covering his body transformed into a divine full-body outfit, jet black in color. This was crafted through the skilled create material, a specialty from the demon race, and even though it only used the magicals leaking out from his body, it was impossible to gauge just how strong it would be as armor. Like flipping a switch, Rimuru suppressed the flow of excess energy. Then he grinned out of one corner of his mouth, satisfied at what he saw. Belgrind was watching from her prison cell, interrupting her energy transfer in the process. She was stunned, unable to believe what was happening before her eyes. The battle between Veldora, her own brother, and the demon lord Rimuru should have been overwhelmingly in the Storm Dragon's favor. It was absolutely impossible for the slime to surpass him in any way. Otherwise, it simply meant that they were equals from the beginning. Is it a coincidence, then? No. Are you saying he just happened to be born right here, right now? It was an astonishing conclusion, reached by Velgren as she foundered in a sea of thoughts, but she wouldn't easily admit to it. How could she? A monster who just happened to be born near a true dragon, who just happened to have the right soul to accept draconic energy, the chances were just too small to comprehend. If Rimuru truly was the 5th true dragon to be born, that would make him Velgren's younger brother, but it happened because he fed off Veldora, and Velgren couldn't abide calling something like that a true dragon. It was something akin to one, at best, and she refused to admit anything so horrifying could exist. Her instincts told her to crush it right here and right now. It would be the only way to avenge her brother's death. Veldora was her darling little brother, bratty, rambunctious, more than a handful to deal with, but still so boundlessly free. She envied him. Yes, she wanted to use him as a pawn, but only be for a blip in time compared to the length of their lifespans. She certainly had no intention of rubbing him out of existence. Once she was done with him, she was going to give him his freedom back. And now, the moment Velgren realized that Veldora was consumed before her eyes, her anger blew away all sense of reason. My sweet little brother! How dare you! She let out a raging roar. It was well past 200 seconds, and that roar was enough to shatter the insulated imprisonment. The flame dragon was enraged, with no regard for her own self-preservation, and now she would unleash all her hostility upon Rimuru. Well, after eating up Veldora, it looks like I've been reborn into a new species, an ultimate slime apparently, but now it made me part of the true dragons. Maybe a quasi-member, but still. I'm really not sure there was anything slime-like about me any longer, but I'll keep that my little secret. Too late to worry about that anyway. So I checked out my new body. My main one, the default form that existed without consuming magicals, had grown considerably larger. Or matured, maybe? I was now about as tall as a high school student, a female one, but still. I could adjust my externals to look any age I wanted, so it didn't really mean much. I just thought it'd be pretty neat to show myself growing like this. The question was whether I could still move around and take action in this body comfortably. My slime form had grown too, to a diameter of 2 or 2.5 feet. That made me a little too big for a regular person to carry around, so hopefully I could retain my original smaller package. Anyway, I could work out the kinks later. For now, I had a problem. I was currently wearing nothing. Totally naked. That wasn't going to fly. This weird aura was flowing out of me, hiding my naughty bits, but either way, very problematic. Oh. So I tried crafting some clothes, tapping create material, a little something Diablo had taught me. I discovered that this process was actually easy peasy. Depending on the creator's ability, Diablo said, you could produce some really nice results with it, and I liked what I saw. Comfortable for sure, and I think straight up black looks good on me. As for its armor level, well, it turned out to be God class. Well, really? God class? Boy, God class, huh? Neat. Wait, what? This must be exactly what being flabbergasted feels like. I thought I had evolved a little, but I guess this proved it, huh? Perhaps my current power was even more tremendous than I had even imagined. I suppose I could have seen it coming. Many Maro and the gang had evolved into awakened demon lords, but thanks to Food Chain, all that power was getting channeled back to me. That was likely one reason, and to that you could add all the power of Veldora I just consumed a moment ago. It was too much energy to store in my stomach as it previously existed, but now I had fully analyzed it and made it my own. So all of this had come together to create what I had now. Basically, it's entirely Seal's work. Now I feel like calling Seal simply by its name is rude. Time to pay it some well-earned respect and call it Dr. Seal.
Please don't call me that.
I thought I heard someone talking, but I didn't care. The good doctor is so wonderful, isn't it? And I'll be expecting
Did
big things from
someone say
it going
something?
forward, too. Great.
Leave it to me.
Great. So now I had some clothes on. I needed to make sure not to forget the task at hand. Eldora, are you okay? Quit making me repeat it again and again. I'm quite amazed to see you defeat my body without any hassle. Yeah, well, I was kind of too much in the zone to think about exactly what I did, but I'm so glad this worked out. Veldora and I were both safe, and it made both of us quite happy. And if we were chatting like this, I assumed Veldora's core was unscathed as well. All that remained was to reconnect our soul corridor and regenerate the ultimate skill of Veldora, Lord of the Storm.
Succeeded. No problems found. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, no, that was good.
Succeeded. No problems found.
There we go.
There we go.
Dr. Seal comes through once again. Always doing the job without me having to micromanage it. Another perfect piece of work. Okay, so that was one objective achieved, and now that I had Veldora back, I really didn't have any business left with the Imperial Army. But you know what? My anger was just as intense as before, and I wanted to slam it in Emperor Ludora's face. Besides, if I ended the war on this rather indecisive note, it'd doubtlessly lead to future disasters. We'd come this far, so I really wanted to be thorough if I could. As a king, it was my job to eliminate any threats to my realm. Now that I regained my sense of reason, I was beginning to think it'd be alright if I left everyone but Ludora alone. But it's important not to let up. I had a job to do, and I had to see it to its end. Maybe I didn't mind ending in here, but the enemy might have had ideas of their own. And as if to prove that point, Velgrin was still alive and well before me, staring at me and brooding inside her prison cell. I had freed Veldora safely, but for some reason Velgrin looked infuriated. Defeating her wouldn't achieve very much for me, so I really didn't want to go through the trouble of engaging her. But if she was a threat, I had to eliminate it.
Valgrind is no longer a threat, dear love. Not all her skills have been analyzed yet, but a full set of countermeasures is in place.
Dr. Seal sure has a lot of confidence. Or maybe arrogance?
No, it's the solemn truth.
It'd be a travesty if I lost after being told that, but no, maybe I didn't have much to worry about. Even in the last battle, I was fully defending myself against Valgrin's attacks. With Seal in tow, I could probably shut her down without even struggling very much. There wasn't much point, I thought, in straying from the original plan. I had the opportunity to thoroughly smash the Empire, and I wanted to take it, ending things right here without any bloodshed. Even now, the Black Corps were out in full force. I could see several large hotspots dotted across the battlefield, and nobody else on the enemy side was worth my attention at the moment. I was going to tangle with Ludora sooner or later, so it didn't seem tactically mistaken to damage Valgrind here while I could. The Empire still had Lieutenant Kondo and Demrata on their side, and the Emperor's 4 personal bodyguards looked like big trouble as well. Ludora was dominating Yuki's mind too, and I'd have to dispatch him along with all the other enemies. That, and there should be one more single digit to deal with. In my maths, at least sage level, better keep a sharp eye out. So even discounting Ludora and Valgrind for the time being, I had 8 powerful foes left. Scanning the battlefield, I spotted several other foes I could classify as threats, presences I decided we needed to wipe out right now. I call them threats, but as strong as they were, they really didn't pose much of a threat to me. Having evolved into a true dragon, my magical count has ballooned to almost 10 times what it used to be. That earned me major boosts in both the quality and quantity of power I could wield. I really felt like I was far stronger than I was before. I hadn't taken Veldora out, so my fuel tank was topped up. I was firing on all cylinders, essentially. And I even felt like I could give Millimore Gia a run for their money. Whoa, hold on. Can't let myself get an ego. Psych yourself up like that and you're bound to screw things up. Let's keep our guards up and proceed as safely or as carefully as possible. Also, while I was scanning the battlefield now, I noticed that these threats I detected were already engaged in battle with Benimaru and the others. I did give them their orders, yet the speed with which they executed them amazed me. But were they sticking to that other command, the one about not getting themselves killed? I just hope they didn't try anything reckless in the name of lightening my load or whatever, but let's worry about that later. Belgrin was before my eyes, and she looked ready to fly at me right this minute. I can think about whether to back up my boys down below once I do something about her. 1 sec.
Oh, that's fine.
It's
Sorry, I'm just texting someone.
It's 167, not 176 if I messed up the thing with my
It's all good.
Stupid dyslexia.
Yeah, it's okay.
We're 10 pages away from the end. Yeah.
In less than a second, I made up my mind. The next problem was how I would fight her. Maybe kick off with Release Storm Dragon, part of the ultimate skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm? That would let me call for Veldora, and then we go 2 against 1 on Velgrin, and victory would be all but assured. Looking back, I've now realized that my magical count was rarely, if ever, filled up to maximum in the past. I had a sneaking suspicion that this was because I had Veldora in a released free state the whole time. Veldora and I are kind of one and the same by this point, with both of us capable of resurrecting the other if needed. It didn't exactly work like Velgrin's parallel existences, but it was still an invincibility code that verged on being unfair. Having to lend in my magicals seemed a small price to pay for that, and Veldora's overflow magic streamed right straight over to me anyway, so it's not like this was any inconvenience. If anything, this sort of power circulation had an energizing effect on me. Thus, while Release Storm Dragon came with some disadvantages, the advantages made it all worth it, so I promptly invoked it. My sweet little brother, how dare you! Now Velgrin was yelling at me, more like how dare she, am I right? Hey, you're the one who struck first. Besides, you tried to get me and Veldora to fight each other. What's up with that? Silence! The mere idea of Veldora being consumed by the likes of you makes me sick. I always knew he was inferior to me, but I cannot believe he would fall victim to a mere demon lord. I refuse to accept his annihilation, and I refuse to ever forgive you for it. Then their furious Velgrin shot out an absurd number of heat rays at me. They didn't work on me, sadly, but I at least learned a thing or two from our conversation. She was that angry because I had eaten Veldora. She thought I must have killed him, completely eradicating him from existence. I knew an easy way to deal with that. Invoke Release Storm Dragon, and everything would be cleared up. But... Wait, Rimuru! Veldora stopped me. What? I asked, worried. Rimuru, listen to me. My sister is enraged because she thinks I no longer exist. Is that right? Sounds like it. So if you come out and we can explain matters, maybe we can avoid unnecessary combat, you know? You damned fool! Stop being so reckless! If I reveal myself to be perfectly safe right this minute, it would be beyond awkward for me to turn her rage from me to you, or from you to me instead. What a stupid answer. I felt like a damned fool for listening to him. I thought I was going to have a heart attack, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was clear that I couldn't rely on him for anything right now. He was so useless right at the most critical of moments. I wanted to chew him out, but then Seal interrupted me.
One moment, please. I would like to take this opportunity perhaps to optimize Veldora's powers. I've already received permission from him, so please hold off on invoking Release Storm Dragon until the skill reformation process is complete.
Its tone was as fetching and courteous as ever. According to Seal, Veldora's ultimate skill Faust, Lord of Investigation, would be revised and evolved into the new ultimate skill Nyarlathotep, Lord of Chaos. Given that this was an evolution, this would come with a tremendous strength boost, but what caught my ear in particular was how Seal already received permission. Apparently Veldora was already aware of him. Since when were you acquainted?
He became aware of my existence after your evolution to Demon Lord, Sir Rimuru.
Veldora offered further explanation. I was aware of it, but only became fully sure of its presence a few moments ago. In the history of this planet, after all,
It's like
I've
going-
never heard of a mere skill. Sorry.
It's like evolving Eldritch Blast into Eldritch Nuclear Blast.
Jesus, it's true though, and your deity is like right there. In the history of this planet, after all, I mean it's like it takes shape. It'd be like if like Fireball became a
Floofy
person,
mushroom.
the skill Fireball. You know,
Suck
it's
it in
weird.
the
I don't know.
background.
It's just a strange thought, but it's kind of interesting.
Happy mushy friend. All right, so
Yeah. In the history of this planet, after all, I've never heard of a mere skill acquiring sentience for itself. But sin type abilities are known to contain something like an ego for themselves, so I began to suspect that it might have been possible after all. So Veldora was suspecting something since way back in the Great Sage days. He had been observing a thing or two inside my stomach, he said, and what he saw often seemed strange and mysterious to him. Once that turned into Raphael, Lord of Wisdom, with my Demon Lord evolution, though, he was pretty much sure of it. It turned out he had been holding conversations with it up to that point, apparently thinking it was me all along. I wasn't that bothered about it, but I was kind of curious to know what they talked about. But be that as it may, Veldora was acquainted with Seal, and that was the important part. Okay, so you knew each other, and you agreed to its proposal? Is that right? Indeed I did. I was hoping I could take on my own sister, but under these circumstances, Rimuru, I will leave it to you. Glad he's back to his usual two-timing self. Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what you were saying earlier, isn't it? And Seal's way too eager to mess around with his skills, too. I really didn't think how it was the time for this, but maybe it'd be more of a hassle if they tried that stuff while Veldora wasn't confined. Besides, I was kind of interested in testing out my powers. I had Ludora to take on in the future, so I had an obligation to find out how strong I was now. Velgren will be the ultimate guinea pig for this. Now that the heat was off, no pun intended, I could use her to see how I'd grown in assorted ways. Might as well do it while I can, right? I'll be keeping an eye on my friends, but until they're in real danger, testing my skills will take top priority.
I think that would be a good idea.
Seal seemed happy about it too, so I was all set to go, but then it had a follow-up proposal for me.
By the way, following my assorted analysis, I am now able to combine the ultimate skills Veldora, Lord of the Storm, and Uriel, Lord of Vows, to form the ultimate skill Haster, Lord of Starwind. Would you like to proceed?
Dr. Seal just never lets up, does it? Or never lets up, does it? I'm about to fight Valgren here. How much free time would it have even? It's almost like it didn't even see Valgren as a challenge any longer. Tinkering with skills seemed like its new hobby or something. But I really wish it'd say that for regular business hours. For the time being, I had to reject this idea. Hey, you might find a better way to modify them later, right? So how about you take your time thinking about that stuff some other time?
Well said, Master. Understood. I will continue searching for greater accomplishments.
Right. Glad it agrees with me. I'm not sure what was so well said about it, but at least I can concentrate on the battle now. Besides, Uriel was pretty effective against Velgren, and no matter how much of an upper hand I have right now, I don't want to throw that away, that known advantage. And sure, I might be able to win with Beelzebub alone, but this isn't a game. I can't let my guard down. Any failure here would be unforgivable. Besides, I know Seal's thinking way too highly of me. Think I'll only give lip service to its praise from now on. Still, Seal's love of messing around with skills was a little harrowing. Its sight were turned squarely on Veldora at the moment, but he said okay to it, so whatever. The real problem would come after this battle was over. I could tell all my friends who awakened to Demon Lord form would have some major skill mods waiting for them as well. Dr. Seal could work that out in no time, I was sure, and I had a feeling I'd be champing at the bit for the opportunity. Or maybe it was already hard at work? But even as I worried about this, the showdown with Velgren was about to begin. The Crimson Dragon and I floated in the sky, glaring at each other. Velgren instantly shifted into her human form, and the battle was very suddenly underway. She fired nuclear cannon strikes at me in rapid-fire succession, slashing away with her Azure Demon Sword.
Azure.
What was the difference? Oh, sorry, Azure Demon Sword.
Azure.
What was the difference? Azure Demon Sword, or Dragon Sword, not even Demon Sword. What was the difference between her human and dragon forms? It mostly came down to the difference in defensive force. On offense, they were exactly the same, but the human form was far more energy efficient. That connects directly to being able to fight for longer, so for extended combat sessions, the human form is likely the way to go. But Dragon Mode had an undeniable advantage of its own, the sheer hugeness of it. The scale of her attacks was proportionate to the size of her body, the same power, in a much wider range. But that let her take on the large numbers of opponents simultaneously, and even if it were just one target, it'd be pretty tough to avoid attacks from such a gigantic creature. Then there's the defense, the real clincher. Finishing off someone so huge required an attack equally large in scale. A sword was unlikely to work, and most magic was just too small in scale to matter. Very little magic worked against true dragons to begin with, but even ignoring that, any magic devised for human-sized targets was useless. It had to work big, or else it just wouldn't cause that much damage. So going into Dragon mode was likely the stronger bet, but Velgrin chose her human form anyway. I could guess the reason.
Presumably, she is seeking to abandon all defense so she may finish you off, Master.
Looks like it, huh? I'll go with that then. Velgrin's fiendish rage only served to enhance her beauty. All that rage was focused on her blade, and now she swung it with enough force to cut me in half. But I wasn't about to take that line down. Leaving my magic countermeasure to seal, I charged at Velgrin with my own beloved blade, a straight sword of pure crimson steel. Her azure dragon blade was a kind of broadsword. She hadn't been hiding it, but instead created it just now via create material. Its grade was god class, but so was mine, apparently upgrading itself for its new true dragon owner. Velgrin's weapon was a threat, but I was hardly outclassed. In fact, with a shrill ting, Velgrin's azure sword shattered. I was pretty surprised myself, but it must have been even worse for her. "What did you do there?" she asked when she moved a prudent distance away. I didn't mean to do anything. All I did was try to parry her attack. She was really barking up the wrong tree with that question. Damn.
That is the difference in each weapon's performance. My Master Straight Sword is a masterpiece forged with the heart and soul of Kurobe. Velgrin's is an easily manufactured model, a mere amalgamation of magicules. It is god class due to the sheer number of magicules involved, but in essence, it is a blunt cudgel of a sword.
Oh! Jesus.
Oh! Hold on.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, there you
There
go.
it is.
Perfect.
Ah!
That's how it is, huh? I knew there could be pretty stark differences between weapons graded at the same level, but I didn't expect this much difference in the god class. I suppose wielding the same weapon for a long time, really building a relationship, pays off in the end. That's a real good lesson to learn. My current outfit was made with create material too, after all. Just because it's graded god class doesn't mean I should accept or expect the world of it. Well, I just found out that even in the same weapon class, sometimes the difference can be like night and day. The one you just created turned out to be no match for mine. I doubted that'd be enough to give her up, but I told her anyway. Velgrin, who was no fool, seemed to conclude that I wasn't lying, but maybe she wasn't willing to accept it yet, because she kept on producing azure swords from thin air to slash me. Azure swords, from thin air to slash at me with. Only after all of them got rent to pieces did she seem ready to accept reality. Seething in frustration, she promptly moved on to her next attempt. If materialized weapons were useless, I suppose, she just had to rely on her own body next. Claws extended out from her hands as she assumed a kung fu style stance. Seeing this, I put my sword away. What are you doing? I was experimenting, of course. I wanted to see how I was progressing, so I stopped relying on my sword. I'm taking you on barehanded. It'd just be bullying the weak if I used a weapon. A fight like this is all about goading your opponent. Fucking... If it made her lose her
You're not using
cool,
a
that
sword,
would
so
be...
neither will I.
Yeah, just, well... If it made her lose her cool, that would be enough to assure victory for me right there.
I'm just trying to play fair. He's got post-Goku exhaustion.
Like, this is a fucking game.
You know, I
Don't
want to
you
try
look-
something. Here's a sensu bean.
Sensu bean!
Kinda. Yeah. Don't you look down on me! And it worked. It was almost funny how easily Velgrin fell into my trap. Now all I had to do was treat this like a chess game and not make any blatantly bad moves. Velgrin's claw attacks were fast, impossible to follow with your eyes, but I had extraordinary perception speed. Ever since I gave Raphael the name Seal, my mind accelerate skill had been increasing. It was once 1,000,000 times faster than reality, but now it was up to several 100,000,000 times. I could even follow the traversal of rays going the speed of light. I couldn't even move at that speed, mind you, but that didn't mean I couldn't avoid this attack. This speed boost applied to the casting of magic as well. Spatial transport now worked nearly 1,000 times faster than before. In other words, I could escape from even a light speed attack with a quick teleport, as long as the attack was a certain distance away. 1 second could be prolonged into 10 or so years, so it was like watching a completely stationary world. It'd be tough for normal people to withstand, given that they couldn't move either, but through the activation of Mind Accelerate at certain key points, Seal could overcome this for me. It didn't really matter how fast Velgrin could move. Now that I was at this point, swordsmanship or martial arts weren't necessary for me. I could just push her down with brute force. Velgrin's super speed attack was closing in. It was going several hundred times the speed of sound. The old me would have doubtlessly had a hard time with it. No, it wasn't worth breaking a sweat over. Too slow, I said, goading her further as the spatials transported my way behind her. But she was no slouch either, anticipating this move. She immediately reacted to it. Pretty tough cookie, I thought. She really was the best of the best, and there was no discounting that. Oh, you think so? Oh, you think so? I doubt you can move quicker than me. Is that an application of spatial transport, then? It's impressive you can move so naturally with it without creating any spatial rifts. But once I know the trick, I can deal with it. That's him. I doubt you can move quicker than me, so is that an application of spatial transport then? It's impressive that you can move so naturally with it without creating spatial rifts, but once I know the trick, I can deal with it. I thought my taunting would enrage her further, but she was calmer than I expected. That's Veldora's sister for you, I suppose. But Seal anticipated this as well, and the next move she was likely going to make was... But now that I've intervened to keep given space fixed in time...
This is
that him?
still Rimuru. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I think you had it right the first time. It was Velgrind, and now it's Rimuru.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But now that I've intervened to keep given space fixed in time, no one can teleport themselves at all within. Too bad, huh? That's the only way for her to counteract me, isn't it? Velgrind's had spatial transport as well, of course, and she could intervene and put her own rules over a large swath of space around her.
Oh,
transport
no, wait,
via dominate.
Wrong. My bad.
Oh, was the other? Oh,
That's
okay. So it was both
That's
Rimuru.
okay. That's okay.
Okay,
No, they weren't
gotcha.
both Rimuru. That one was
Gotcha.
Velgrind. But either way.
Oh, okay.
Because she's the one that put the whole thing up. She's like, you can't teleport no more. And he's like...
And he's like, well, yeah.
Okay. Do I need to?
This isn't even a game for him.
Yeah.
Transport via dominate space was no longer possible for me. I could force it anyway, but there wasn't much point if she knew where I'd be exiting. It remained a potential escape route for me too, but again, she'd know where I'd be going. So it was pretty meaningless. Now that teleport type abilities were out of the picture, that just left physical speed to decide this. Velgrind now had the perfect environment to seal her victory. That meant her next move was... I never thought I'd have to use my true clincher moves on someone like you. You think stopping my movement was enough to let you win? Let me show you just how wrong you are. You are a brat, aren't you? If you hadn't killed my boy, I might have liked you. But this is the end now. Velgrind took a stance, kicking against thin air. She turned herself into a supersonic bullet, accelerating further as it shot forward. Cardinal, acceleration! But the shouted voice was already well behind her. Velgrind made herself into a crimson meteor, approaching me at the physical limit of sublight speed. Was changing trajectory too. Making this transformation allowed her to function as a flaming ball of wrath, capable of going in any direction. This, I suppose, was cardinal acceleration in its purest form. Not a straight line attack, more of a guided missile that could go anywhere it wanted. A combination of teeming energy and pondering mass, it was the ultimate in destructive attacks. Seal had thoroughly analyzed cardinal acceleration, perfectly discerning its true nature for me. Velgrind was terrifying enough, but Seal had her beat for sure. I created a Manus like this on what was basically a whim, and that whim would spell the Flame Dragon's defeat.
As I planned, Master, I have developed Beelzebub around your entire perimeter. No matter the angle of contact, predation on Velgrind will proceed without complications. Dragon snack number 2. No matter where she hits him, he's eating
It's
her.
over.
It's
over.
done. It's fucking done.
Yep. And that was exactly right. If I tried to eat a sentient target any normal way, it'd be real hard if it tried to resist me. And this was a true dragon. No matter how much of an effort Seal put in, Beelzebub-based predation should have been impossible. Except that, by her own will, Velgrind had transformed herself into a meteor-style projectile. All of her energy was placed into her attack, and thanks to that, her resistance to things like this had been greatly reduced. And here was the result. Velgrind was now quarantined in my complex space. How in the world did that happen? I heard her say. The moment she thought this, she finished me off, she was in a completely empty space. For Velgrind, it must have been difficult to grasp the situation at first. I'm sure it'd take some time for her to realize she'd been defeated. Better spell it out for her. I won. You just sit there and be quiet, okay? I lost? That's what happened, yeah. And you can't escape my complex space, so don't even think about your parallel existence can exchange any energy with you. According to Dr. Seal, I had consumed over 50% of Velgrind's magicals. The replications standing by next to Ludora had about 20%. The remaining amount, nearly 30%, had been expended and needed to be recovered. Apparently, she could recover around 10% of her magicals per day, so she'd be back at just under 50% in 3 days. But since I had this replication inside of me, she wouldn't recover quite that much. Her own sentience existed in both replications, which made exact calculations a little complex. But either way, I just weakened Velgrind a hell of a lot. You want the full story, ask Wildora, alright? Wildora? What are you talking about? Velgrind seemed puzzled, but I think it'd be quicker to hear about this from the horse's mouth. It is I, my sister. I hope you are faring well. Doesn't really look like it, but... Veldora? You weren't gone after all? Great. Hopefully they can talk things over and come to some kind of detente about this. Is that how you say that?
Detente. It's French.
Yeah,
Detente, yeah.
Yeah.
So I now had complete victory over Velgrind, capturing the majority of her magicals in complex space.
That's why I said this chapter was the fucking best! It's the best! Well done, Well done, Shanks. Well done. All right.
Thanks.
We'll be
Man.
the three of us will be taking over for you next week. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get to
Yeah.
sit here.
I mean, a
you,
week will be
next
enough
week you
to
just get to
recover,
relax.
but
you get to sit here and listen like the rest of us did. So Moon, you're starting the first hour next week.
yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Let's
We
quickly
did it.
let's quickly
Yay.
recap this. Holy shit. Holy
Yep.
shit. So this is why I love this chapter, because so much happens in this chapter.
Here,
we get
You
Seal.
start.
We
I'm getting
get
water.
we get True Dragon Rimuru. We get to learn what this fucking Manas can do. It's insane. This shit is insane, bruh. Oh man, what a great chapter. All right, well, Moon, since you're the only person here, what'd you think?
Apparently.
Yeah, but you're away.
Oh man, it was.
I'm right.
Yeah, you're not at your computer.
You're not at your
I'm
seat.
right here.
You're
It was
not
a
at
lot
your
of
seat.
fun.
I'm
You
sitting
weren't
down.
in front of your mic. You hush. You hush.
No, I distracted you long enough.
No, you
That's what
didn't.
mattered.
Anyway, Moon, your turn.
Yes. Oh, that was so much fun. It was just a great time hearing. Basically, Rimuru come out just with a steel chair.
Oh no, it's Rimuru with a
Shit,
steel
everyone.
chair. It's Rimuru
steel
Tempest
chair.
with a steel chair. God, that's so funny.
Oh god, and just outclass everyone in the immediate vicinity, and just hand out magicules left and right. And you get an upgrade, and you get an upgrade. Everybody gets an upgrade. Oh, and even the voice inside his head. You hear that? You get an upgrade too.
Well, the funny part
You
is
get a name.
Seriously.
the funny part, we're only halfway through the upgrades. We've got more fun to have. It's great. And the way it happens is the best. So we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. I forgot that was still active. Okay, stop. What?
What?
Somebody, all right. So, sound alerts was
Oh yeah,
redeemed.
sound alerts.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
anyway.
Hi, me.
Right.
But yeah. Oh, so much fun. And just Rimuru just becoming the next dragon, the next true dragon, right then and there. Oh lord. Oh lord.
You gotta
I don't know
admit,
how
from
Mel
the
didn't
enemy's
immediately
perspective,
think,
that had
"Oh,
to.
I'm fucked."
From the enemy's perspective,
What?
that had to be like some real messed up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is
All
what
right,
happens
should be
when you
drinks now.
piss me off. And dangle a true dragon in front of me to eat.
Oh no.
Actually.
Actually, factually. Yeah.
Well, 1.5 apparently.
Anyhow, it doesn't matter. The enemy who was thinking that they had the advantage, not an overwhelming advantage, they thought they had the advantage, just had all of that swept up, and we haven't even gotten to what everybody else is doing.
I mean, when you have 2 demon lords against or 2 true dragons versus a demon lord, I mean,
And the demon lord
I understand why you
wins.
think-
Holy shit.
oh yeah, at that point, yeah, no.
Yeah. We're just kind of relaxing and talking about it like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, I needed some water.
No,
I was
don't-
like, I need to
don't blame
pee
you.
so
There.
bad.
Very
If
fair.
nothing else, dude,
Yeah.
if nothing else, we
Yeah.
made up for being an hour late. So
Yeah,
So
just
sorry.
barely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
you
barely.
That's
made
okay.
that up.
But if we started at a normal time,
We
I would have
probably
finished
would.
like
Yeah.
right before.
Yeah,
Would have been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
we probably
That's
would have
nuts.
gone a little long, but we definitely
Oh.
would have finished. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
it
yeah.
was
but
it was an experience.
Yeah.
guys, this is my favorite
Yes.
chapter of all of Slime. This is my favorite
Yeah,
chapter of all
I can
of
agree.
Slime.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Wild.
why 15 is my favorite book, just in general, because like,
That's fair.
and the only reason why it's so good is because you need to read 14 and go through all that frustration about you motherfuckers to get to the part where Rimuru's like, all right, I'm about to do something. Like,
All right, bet.
it's like, I'm about to turn left. Yes.
All right,
We're
let's
sharing
do this.
this.
Crack his
I don't know
knuckles,
whether
break
to be
some-
happy or sad that Moon and I are sharing a brain cell at the moment, but yeah,
You should be happy.
should be happy.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you both have consumed alcohol, so
Yeah, but
You'll
at this
become the
point it's
seal
worn
of the
off.
dragon.
At this point, mine's worn off. So
I'm still kind of
at this point.
Yeah.
not horrible.
Well, you were
but
all
still
taking it in, so you were
We
like,
were.
"Holy shit, what's happening?"
We were. All right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So yeah,
was a lot. That was
Shem,
good.
let's get we kind of got Moon's thoughts. We've kind of got Sonic's thoughts so far, right? Now,
Yes.
Shem, let's get your thoughts.
it was really good. I really liked the. Well, I thought he was already really broken, and now it's like, well now
Oh,
this
yeah.
is an
Reached a new
entire
level of
league.
I told you.
This is-
I told you. And apparently,
Now he's full on cracked.
apparently, people have not learned their lesson even after this because some more beings are going to fuck around, and they're going to have to find out. So, from my understanding, Rimuru's gonna go even further beyond.
Yeah, this is gonna be just the beginning. It's crazy, but like the way that I understood it and the way that I analyzed it in my own brain was that like okay, I love Pokemon and I love fighting games, right? Like there comes a certain point in both of those games, if you're a really good player, where you don't even see Pokemon. You just see numbers. You just see numbers and math and you do the internal thoughts. In fighting games, you don't see the characters or their moves or their voice lines or whatever. You just see hitboxes. Am I plus or minus? What do I do? And that's it. And it's like,
up until you said that and
you
broke
know?
it down on that level, I was like, oh, you like
Yeah.
fighting games and Pokemon. Well, boy, have
Yeah.
I got a game for you. It's called Power World.
Pokken. Oh, I was going to say Pokken.
No.
Pokken is
Right?
both. But
No.
yeah, I heard Power Word is
What
kind of
about
similar.
FPSs?
dude,
I know.
Shem?
I know.
Again,
I
I
just suck
think
at shooters. But
once
still.
again, I would love to make a slime world. You know, like where
A slime world with-
all of us slime people just play Power World together and multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because Power World.
I mean, there is the slime mobile game.
I mean, I only know a little bit about
Yes.
Power World, and I know about some of the monsters in there. And I was like,
it's good.
did they give them some of them boobs? Oh no.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that actually
yeah, that's
reminds
also
me.
true.
Like
The-
actual
yes.
boobs. And I was like, oh no.
No,
This
yes,
is
no,
bad.
that
They
is-
know their audience.
Real
Oh,
quick,
no.
side note about the slime mobile game.
Yes.
They have a crossover event with Overlord right now.
That's kind of cool.
You can summon Ainz in Albedo right now.
That's
oh,
a-
nice.
Yeah,
How does that-
I tried to, I didn't get it.
Isekai Quartet 3. Let's go.
Yeah, they have an actual
He should
story
have
event
been
and
an
everything going
Isekai Quartet.
I'm surprised he wasn't.
Okay. Okay.
But still, I think
yeah, he's-
like breaking it down like that, I think that this was kind of how like Seal is analyzing the world. But they can do something about it. You know what I mean? So like if we're talking about those equivalents, it'd be like they can see the hitboxes, are they plus or minus, but they can also adjust it so they can be like, oh nope, you're plus, you're minus now. We're gonna tweak your data so that you don't get to do that. This guy's always gonna burn. You know what I mean? It's just like you have full console control of the match.
No,
it's
I
like-
You
absolutely-
know
It's
what
wild.
what's gonna happen.
With
what
all
Exactly,
the
the
player's
it's
gonna
ultimate
wild to me.
skills he has access to, that is literally what's happening.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't
You
even
know
know
what's
what the
gonna
next
happen
thread
before
is.
it
He
happens.
can just eat things. He can fucking block just about everything. Like,
I just don't know what the next
He's
thread
the
is.
best Smash player ever. He's
There
he's the
are
best
other
Kirby player
books
ever.
ahead of this. So what's next? I'm just like,
I
what is
I
next?
feel like it's just going to go to
gonna
the
be
same
crazy.
level of fucking Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
And the next big fight is just gonna be Rimuru
Yeah.
on the fucking galactic disc fighting some other god.
Throwing galaxies.
Hey, we've seen all different forms of dragons. We've seen acid. We've seen electric. Now we're getting slime dragon.
It's gonna be wild.
Gudra.
Is he gonna have a slime dragon form? Yeah.
It's Gudra. Yeah.
Gudra.
Yeah.
I bet you when he conquers the world, you're just gonna have to see puddles of slime everywhere. Not Senshi, it's just to remind you that he's always there and he's always watching.
What do you think the rivers and lakes are?
Oh no!
He's polluted the
He's
water
already there.
supply.
It's a river of slime.
He's eternal.
We covered this in Ghostbusters
My
2. It's a
blood
river of
literally
slime.
flows through this world.
slime.
All right.
He's the core of the world.
But it was
is
good.
him.
I really liked it.
Oh,
It was
shit,
a
my
good
DM
chapter.
You're like the bug
Shem, I believe I
flies to
DM'd
him.
you. I think.
Oh. Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Send me 2 messages.
Yeah.
What is
Anyhow.
your Steam name?
I don't say it out loud, sir.
Oh, sorry. What is your X video's name?
What the
About
fuck?
that? What is your
It's
X
honestly
hamster
the
name?
Your
same.
X
oddly
video?
enough.
It's the same name.
Wait,
Yeah,
is that
that's-
you?
that's for
Richie?
desperate.
Wow.
Don't you use the same name on all of them?
That's for bad
Holy
times.
shit.
Chub
Who
Supreme.
needs a new username for things?
Yep. No, it's
That
different.
would
My
work
my names are
for
like different all
everything.
over the place, but
Okay, cool, gotcha.
that's all good. I am.
Ugh.
I need to wrap up because I am epis.
Yeah, it is
Just
And
about
type it.
1
Just type it out for me.
But
guys.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this was cool.
Ah,
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I hold on. There we go. It's case sensitive. I believe.
Wait,
My
are we
profile
not
pic is the
friends?
exact same one or similar. I don't think so, honestly.
Are you talking
I've
about
been
for
playing Steam for a
streaming,
while.
Or...
No, we're talking about something else.
No, because
okay.
we played
Anyway.
Raft. Wouldn't you have to be my friend to join my Raft?
I think we already are actually.
Yeah, y'all should.
Yeah,
be
I think
friends, 'cause
we
I'm
already
pretty
were
sure me
good.
and Shem are
Why don't I
friends.
see you
Yeah.
on here at
Well,
all?
I'm what was it? I'm also fried potato.
Oh,
so, like-
that might be it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my other username. That it has different ones, you know.
So there's the main.
That was part of
username,
my
and then
clan
there's
name.
A display name.
There
Mhm.
we go. There we go.
Yeah, but we should already be friends. So
Yeah,
yes.
mine's just the same as it always is.
mine has the elf son ears as the profile pic, but
Oh, are we not? Oh, I don't think we are. That's not-
What?
Oh wait, actually, yeah.
I don't think me and Shim are actually friends on Steam. I'm looking at my list now. Huh.
I can add you real quick, or if not, I can just send you it.
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure we agreed to all game tomorrow, didn't we? Oh, or was that?
Oh yeah.
That's also
No,
true.
that's me and
yes.
Richie.
Well,
Yeah,
some,
we're streaming tomorrow.
some of
so-
us are, not all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm.
I mean,
at
we're
work and
gonna
other
be-
things, so
Okay.
Together.
you guys will, but it'll be okay. I'll be there in spirit.
In spirit.
In
Mhm.
human.
We have like a
Spirit.
work like
Spirit.
morale business meeting, quarterly meeting tomorrow. So business numbers.
But
Alrighty.
yeah. I mean, Shim, if you
But
want
yes.
to send me your thing, I'll send you a friend request.
Sure thing. Oh, thanks.
I'm
I
trying to look
appreciate
for
that.
mine. Oh, there we
Spend
go.
money on it. Thanks. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
It's really cheap, dude.
It's a
It
cheap
wasn't
game.
hurting me.
It's really cheap.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like 10
Fair
bucks.
enough.
So.
I can afford Pal World.
fair
Well,
enough.
no, it's 30. It's basically.
Oh, I thought you were
20.
talking about Lethal
Still, though.
Company. My bad.
No.
I have that, so
Lethal
Yeah, he
Company
already
is
has
so
Lethal
I play it with
Company.
some of my friends. So I play with mods.
No,
so.
I got him
Yeah,
Pal
great ass.
World.
Yep, same.
So
Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate it.
now you can play
Are
with
we-
us. Cause
Yeah, that could
it's,
be
I don't
interesting.
Have Star World.
it's hella.
I could also
addictive.
play with my friends too, so we have to see because they were also playing it too. I just haven't gotten to it. So
Yeah, it's only it's like $29.99
There you go,
for it,
Mhm.
and there's no like it's still in beta. The funny thing is
Okay.
when you play it, you're like, man, this is really fun. This is a really interesting game and everything, and then keep in mind in the back of your head, this game is only 60% complete.
yeah, and that's I mean
That's insane.
good on it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Good on it.
All right. Final
But yeah.
thoughts on this chapter before we head out for the night,
Good.
guys.
Chapter equals good. That's it.
Fun.
It was very nice. I hope the voice acting lived up to the chapter. It was hard, but it was
I
good.
mean,
We did it. We
You
did it.
could have been a better female dragon, I
God damn
guess.
it. God
I
damn
did.
it,
It was very
DDA.
gravelly.
DD.
I can't do female voices very well unless you want deep, husky, alluring female voice, which doesn't really work most of the time.
Greetings, I am a female. This is what female sounds like.
Greetings. I am a girl.
Greetings,
In a very convincing.
Yo,
That works too.
Yaddle,
How are you
Yaddle,
today?
what are you doing here?
Lumpy
I-
Space Princess.
yeah. So there we
Yeah,
go.
I can do
guys.
Lumpy Space Princess. Yeah. But yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
fun. Thanks.
You
Alright.
wish I was Luffy, Space Princess.
Okay, and that having been said, guys, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming by.
Yeah,
We'll be
thank you.
back
That
next
was great.
week with chapter 3, where the rest of us will actually read.
Yes.
Jam, you
I
get
will
next
get
week
water.
off.
We'll
Shim-
give our poor
Shim
Shim
gets a
rest.
reprieve, rightfully.
Okay. That's fair. I'll probably still listen to the chapter intently, but it was good.
Oh yeah, it's very good.
Of course.
Yeah,
Course.
yeah. I mean, we may have you say things here and there. You know, you'll have
Oh, yeah, of
character
course.
dialogue. That having been
course.
said,
Some way
though,
will be present.
that having been said, though, guys, we will see you next time.
Mhm.
See you on Sunday for Anime Church. Once again, Moon and Fenris and I will be breaking down the new episode of Solo Leveling as it comes out on Saturday. We're going to watch it together, and then we're going to talk about it on Anime Church, and then we'll cover the nerdy news, you know? So, yeah, there we go.
Cool, cool.
All said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun night despite an hour of technical difficulties.
Mhm.
Thank you for
Yeah,
hanging
I
in
don't
there
know if
with
we would
us.
have gone
Not
that
the
long on any
podcast.
other
You're
chapter
welcome.
than this one.
Thank you for hanging in there with us. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Later.
Bye.